Warriors of Peace. That's us. You're not paying attention. Look me in the eyes. I'll only show you this once. Not paying attention in class? Sit next to me then. I'm not sure I can phrase a sentence simple enough for you to understand.
No matter how far I go, I never forget the way back home. Home is wherever your family is. Time for bed. Sleep well. Check this out. Watch this area. You're not getting away. Do you hear the snow fall? Snowball fight! The storm's not over yet. Keeping your balance is an important skill for a hunter.
Legend tells of Chiyo, who forged weapons from metal: the bow, polearm, spear, dagger axe, and halberd. Today, his descendant hones 100 crafts. She commands the 5 weapons, shaking the heavens.
Thinks no one in this world has ever done before? Is only because I, Chicha, haven't given it a try yet.
That hot-tempered little girl is trading ores for another furnace to forge with again. Who knows what she's planning to make this time?
No wonder she's been dragging me everywhere to find forging materials lately. I'm totally worn out.
The Dawnseekers call her the forging fanatic. Besides forging, she doesn't care about anything else.
As for her quirky outfit, you could say it's tailored entirely for her craft.
Isn't it obvious? Wind and fireproof goggles, mountain climbing boots perfect for gathering ore, and miniature molds of the 5 arms.
But the thing most worth mentioning is her weapon case.
She reforged the cores of the 5 arms into that case, and poured an incredible amount of effort into it, and somehow, it turned into a divine weapon that can shift between multiple forms. I'll admit, this girl really does have talent.
Each of the divine weapons forms is unique and extraordinary in its own way, and in her hands she swaps between them effortlessly, unleashing astonishing power. I've seen that bow myself. It left quite the impression. In a fight, she's definitely a worthy opponent.
And when she summons all 5 arms together, she can ride them through the air, gaining overwhelming might. People who underestimate her because of her small stature have learned their lessons the hard way.
Hey! You two over there sneakily whispering away again. If you're so free, why not help me find more ore? I'm already running low on forging materials. And you, Heaven Hound. Enough eating! Time to get going!
As the Forge Inheritor, Chicha has multiple weapons and cycles through them in this order: polearm, spear, dagger axe, halberd, bow. This is her passive skill. With each basic attack, she recovers health and switches her weapon and combat form. When her basic attack or skills hit, she gains a stack of fighting spirit which boosts her attack speed, stackable up to 8 times. When Chicha is in her defense form, skill 1 is a crowd control and dash skill. Chicha carries the enemy along while dashing to a target direction, dealing damage to and launching enemies along her path. Skill 2 is a recovery skill. Chicha thrusts forward in the target direction, knocking enemies back and recovering her health. When Chicha is in her offense form, her skills will change. After casting Skill 1, she dashes in a target direction, carrying enemies to her landing point and launching them. Skill 2 becomes a sweeping attack that deals damage, knocks back targets within range, and recovers her health. The more enemies this skill hits, the more health she recovers. When Chicha is in her overkill form, her weapon transforms into a bow. Skill 1 fires a piercing arrow in the target direction and knocks back enemies. If an enemy hits a wall, they are immobilized for a short duration. For Skill 2's duration, Chicha has crowd control immunity and damage reduction, dealing grievous damage to enemies and knocking them back while recovering her health. This skill can hit up to 5 enemies. Her ultimate has an enhancement effect. After using it, Chicha gains a burst of movement and attack speed and breaks through her fighting spirit limit. Her basic attack can also be used while moving, dealing extra damage when hitting enemies.
Yay! As you stand in the ruins, I'm your only hope. I prepared an infinite loop for you, the kind that gets executed immediately. could ever do that! Ha! And you thought you had me! Clear the way! Whew! That's tougher than it looks! The radiation seems to have caused irreversible damage to your brains. When you see a flash, that's the gunfire hitting you.
Your resistance only makes your blood smell better, Your Holiness. Obviously, you have forgotten to recharge your faith. Say goodbye to Dawn. The only problem with me is that I'm too perfect. What I prey on is human avarice.
Sorry, you were in my way. Time, it flows like a river. The white dove is here! You're not the one I'm waiting for. A quill and some ink to seal time within the letters. A glimpse in a dream. We've missed each other.
Plays some of these picks to kind of turn this game around. Maybe a nice truth mantra from Dharma can change the game, but if the game keeps going the way it's going right here, it's not looking good for SFT.
Yeah, we see actually the 3k gold cap, so it's gonna be really hard to fight unless they get a good catch.
Yeah, and that's what their composition is good for, right? These good catches. Fade and Dharma are known for their catches. It's just that will War give them the opportunity, right? SFT is definitely going to be looking for it, but if War positions and plays perfectly, they're going to be, you know, holding the sizable lead. Here we go, Fade looking for a bit of initiation onto the Yijing. Nope, he goes ahead and backs away. Zhongfei is there at the ready to go ahead and peel him off. Fati just sneaking tier 2 tower in the side lanes here, doing what he does best, which is split pushing.
Yeah, actually the war team actually doing their best with playing for the side lanes and just waiting for the objective, take all the farm.
Absolutely, and War knows SFT is good at getting these picks, right? They know the enemy team has the Dharma, they have the Fade. They're trying to play as reserved and calculated as possible. They know if it keeps going the way it's going right now, they're gonna win. So they're trying to minimize mistakes. They're not really pushing their lead as much, but I think that's the right call in the situation when the enemy team has such high pick potential.
Exactly, you're 4k ahead. You're playing against a team that's really hard to win in team fights, so the best way to do it is just take their camps, take the objectives, and finish the game.
Yeah, just play it slow, wait for these objectives to come up. They have the map control. Next Tyrant comes up here. Arlie is on it immediately here. We're doing a great job of controlling these objectives and being there on time. So second Tyrant is going to go over the side of War. This is going to make it even tougher. If the 4,000 gold lead was not enough, now SFT has to fight through a Tyrant buff as well too, as War slowly pressures down the mid tower. Here we go. Fati jumping in with Arlie here. Now this is the dive in that we're talking about. The mobility of the composition from the side of War with this gold lead and Tyrant buff allows them to just dive behind SFT's tower and take them out as they tank up the high ground tower in the bot lane as well.
Yes, and they still want to take another tower, and maybe we're gonna see a fight for it. No, they're going behind.
They almost brute force down that tower. There's no minions there. SFT doing a good job clearing the minions, but there's just so much stats on the side of War. 3 bruisers here. Arlie actually ends up stealing the tower while no one was looking there, and that's the first high ground going down, and that is going to be bleeding minions for the side of SFT here on the bottom side of the map.
Yeah, it's the best they do is just play it safe, wait for the objective, only 1 minute left, and probably they can take both of them if they get enough control in the map.
Yeah, they are still affected by Primal Bond now, but they're going to start looking for those enhanced objectives coming up. And at the 10-minute mark, the objectives get enhanced, and Overlord starts looking a lot more attractive. So it's very good that for War, that is, that SFT's bottom high ground is down, because they always got to send someone kind of away from the Overlord to tend to those minions down there.
And yes, even though we still have 5k gold lead, we can see the blue team didn't take any tower, so it's kinda hard for them to get back in their feet, and at least they try to take the jungles if the enemy team go for the big objectives.
Here's Dharma trying to look for a play here, but Zhang Fei doing his job there, face checking those bushes and making sure he is the first one in. And you can't really combo the Zhang Fei. He's too tanky, right? He can break out of it with the ultimate. And then just like that, third Tyrant comes in for the side of War there. This is looking really rough for the side of SFT. They're trying to find stuff, but there's just so much vision control for the side of War. They have 3 bruisers that can face check everything and ensure that the Yijing and Arlie are always in protected ground.
Exactly, yeah. You play against Zhang Fei when you're playing Verma, and you play against Fatih, can cancel your ult, you play against Yang Jiang, can cancel your ult, you almost can kill anyone in this game.
Yeah, it's really tough. You kind of want to play against more squishy targets for Dharma, so there's not many people that could get vision for their team. Oh, look at this. A catch on the Yangjuan, but he is so tanky. He ends up not going down, and then War turns the fight onto them. It looks like War got caught, but ends up SFT was the one baited in as 2 go down for side SFT. This could be near the end here for SFT, as it is a 5v3. Minion waves are pushing in. Top lane high ground here getting dropped super low. Yangjuan surprising us there with that survival there. 3v1, he ends up surviving and backing out.
Yeah, it was a big mistake.
Oh, look at this, a catch on the Yangjuan, but he is so tanky. He ends up...
Yes, it was a big mistake to wax the Yang Jiang. He still have the ult, he still have the passive. You can stun him, you can heal a lot, it's really hard to kill him.
Yeah, with the new way the Yangjuan's played here, his passive, he has that unstoppable. When you think you got him caught, he's not really that caught. He's able to just walk away from it, especially with the gold lead here. He is just so incredibly durable there. But SFT, they're a bit desperate right now. They know they need to make plays. Dharma trying to make a play there, gets caught in the box, has to go ahead and dash away as Fati looks for a solo, and wow, look at that. Full combo onto the Fade there, absolutely obliterating him there, getting revenge for that early game gank.
Yeah, it's really good catch here to get a kill before the pushing. But actually, they don't have to go for a Slayer, they can just fight.
Yeah, they might just go for the end here as we have a minion wave pushing into the final high ground for side SFT. Once this high ground goes down, it's going to be really rough to come back. All 3 high grounds are down. Huge Zhang Fei ultimate onto 3 there. And it looks like this could be the final fight here as SFT desperately try to defend their base. Board comes out. They're trapped but are they really trapped in there with them, or are you trapped in there with War? They end up stopping the push, but with 3 high ground towers down, that's usually the mark of death here for these teams. It's really hard to come back from losing 3 high ground towers.
Yeah, exactly. Throw inhibitor towers, and you already lost 2 members. Oh.
What happened there? It looks like Fati went down to Overlord there, and Fade ended up getting assists. He probably wasn't sure what happened there either, as Fati plays it a little bit close there. Didn't quite have enough sustain to survive Overlord's damage. Minor slip up from the side of War. Can SFT go ahead and capitalize off this? You know, they have a small window where it is 5v4 here. Maybe this could be what they need to come back into the game. It's looking tough though.
True, it's 4v4, but at the same time, they're losing by waves. One of them has to go defend, so it's kind of hard to contest the dragon, and maybe actually the red team going to push.
Yeah, War is so ahead, even though they're down a member there, SFT can't really... They can't get in position. Look at all these waves. All the waves are on the side of SFT's map there. They're not really allowed to leave their base even. They're forced to turtle right now with no clear win conditions. The only way to really win from this point is be able to defend super well until maybe a Tempest, and then you get the Tempest, but that's a long ways away.
Yeah, it looks like the red team was thinking about finishing the game or going for the Tyrant, but they saw the Fade trying to push the bot wave, so they're trying to engage.
Here we go. This is likely going to be the final fight of the game here. Zhangfei jumps in. Board was used early to try and disengage here. So not much ultimates are available on both sides. Liangpo goes down. There's the front line beside SFT. Once these Overlord Vanguard jump in, you see that Crystal is exposed there and it gets rushed down. They don't need to fight. They see that there's no structures left and they go ahead and take the final one. Amazing performance by War, taking game 1 of this best of 3.
It actually was a little unexpected. It's usually the early game, if you lose, it's really hard to come back. They got the timer on the red side. They can just invade over and over again. They lost the first dragon. It was really to go back from that.
Yeah, War from the United Kingdom here, doing extremely well there. Starting off with a 1-0. Look at these performances on their side. ASAAS. Very, very great performances. They kind of held the lead the entire game, right? We saw early game, they got a bit of a lead, and then they just held it all throughout the game, and we're going to see that once the graphs come up as well, too. SFT did make some nice plays, getting a catch onto Fati early and giving their Dharma a bit of breathing room, but they never really found much, right? Composition-wise, it's so hard, as Zenon mentioned, to play against the Zhangfei, the Fati, the Yang Zhuan as the Dharma. There's no real targets for them to catch other than the backline carries, but the backline carries are just too far away as they have this impenetrable front line, you know, just sizing into their base.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what happened exactly. The early game got a comfortable pick, even though she's playing against Tarma and PVT in the Fade.
Yeah, and once War got a lead, they know they have the late game too, right? They have the early late game scaling. They know they don't need to play too dangerously. We saw in the mid game, there was a bit of a lull. It's not that they don't want to go ahead and press their lead, it's that they know the only chance the enemy can win is if we make a mistake right now. So let's go ahead and play safe, play the side lanes. We have the Fati for the split push. We don't need to do anything crazy. And they showed a level of control that, you know, you don't see very often, right? And that's the difference between these pro teams and some of the teams we play against on the ladder here, right, Zenon? When you play ranked, some teams, when they get ahead, they just want to go in the enemy base, you know, and steal stuff, waste time, and throw. That was a very calculated game. War did not want to throw at all. They wanted to play for the 100% win rate, and that's what we kind of saw there.
Yeah, that's the problem. It's usually harder to think when you're losing. But most of the time, you should at least take a trade better than fighting. Especially early game, if you're losing in camps, try to go for the enemy sides, try to go cuts, just split the map and go for the other side.
Yeah, SFT there, while they didn't succeed there, their idea was right. They're so behind, they know the only way they're gonna win is if they get some crazy picks. So you see them always kind of go for it. They went for the 3v1 on the Yang Zhuan there, did not quite work out, but if it did, maybe that could have given them the tempo they needed to kind of break out of their base there. It didn't quite work out, but that's the mentality you need. When you're the team that's behind thousands of golden objectives, you need to do something crazy to come back. Doesn't work out all the time, but that is going to be your win condition.
Yeah, it's really hard, especially if it's 10k gold. And actually, from we saw from the team WARLIMI, they usually don't have a fixed pick, except the Yang Jiang pick. They're famous for it. They don't have fixed pick. They usually go for the counter pick. And this game they got the red side, so everything was in their advantage.
Yeah, maybe they're a little bit stronger with the counter pick side, getting those 2 picks. They also did just get given the Arlie, right? That's something we got to talk about. Arlie usually does not get given away. So it looks like SFT is going to be regretting that, but they are not going to be able to play the Arlie anymore though, which is going to be good. So now War is going to be forced to ban it or give away that weapon to enemy teams here. Here's a look at the brackets once again. We are in the first best of 3 today, and WARLIMI is already halfway there to that finals there if they win one more match.
Yes, exactly. That's what I like about the global ban pick. Once a hero is chosen by a team, it's locked out for that team for the entire series. And actually, it's make more teams learn many different heroes just so they can compete with the other teams.
Yeah, it challenges you a little bit differently, right? Because with the KCS here, they want to gear these players towards more pro-style play, where you need to master all the heroes. This is not like in rank or peak, where you can just play your favorite hero every single game, right? And you only need to be good at one hero. Once you win on one hero, you got to play something else. You got to be able to adapt to the draft. There's lots of bans going out too. And they are only best of 3s now, but as these players get further in the pro play, they're gonna have to play global pick ban best of 5s, best of 7s even, which really test your hero pool. And this is a good stepping stone into that.
Yeah, and we actually still don't know. Maybe SFT gave them their best picks, so they struggled the second and the third game. Who knows?
Yeah, Zenon, let's get some insight from a current pro player here. This is something I'm always curious about. When you're looking for a teammate, right, and a strong player, what do you look for? Do you look for someone that is very pointed and strong on a few different characters? Or would you prefer someone that's kind of well-rounded, a team player that can go ahead and play kind of everything, but maybe not at the level of someone like a one trick? What do you think about that?
Actually, I don't mind going for someone that's one trick. If you play in a higher rank, usually that means you have a better macro, better mechanical. You just need a wider hero pool. That's it.
Okay, so great insight here coming in from Xenon, a current, pro player. So that's why he has such on-point analysis as well. As we get into the draft of game 2 here, we see Dolia getting banned out once again. SFT don't really want to play against that, as well as the Flowborn marksman there. I think all the Flowborns get banned. I'm pretty sure if one of them gets banned. Oh, no, they don't actually. If one of them gets played, all of them cannot be played anymore.
Yes, exactly. And it looks like Team WARLIMI actually studied the enemy team, since the Team SFT actually picked the Liampo, so they know the Zhangfei and the Lapu Lapu is banned, so they don't have any other tanks to play.
I'm kind of sad, that the Lapu Lapu keeps getting banned. I want to see him. He's the newest hero. He can make some really flashy plays, right? With that ultimate and flash to kind of connect some great crowd control onto enemies. Unfortunately, we're not going to be able to see him, but I have a feeling we are going to get to see him in the KCS eventually, as we see a first pick Nua for the side of SFT. Very interesting. It looks like they're changing up their strategy to look for more counter picks here, because the Nua pick isn't really known as a powerful first pick.
Yes, and we see the Gogudze pick from the left side and the Dharma pick, but they got counter pick with the Zwaganzi. What's the name?
Guaigutsu.
Gugut. Okay.
Yeah, not a pick you see very often, but that's going to be exciting. Wow, the Guaigutsu with the Marco Polo. Now, it seems like War, they love these combos, right? First game, we have the Zhang Fei Yijing combo. This game, they got the Guaigutsu with the Marco Polo combo, sucking everyone in to the ultimate there for Marco Polo, and potentially the Truth Mantra from Dharma here is going to be very, very exciting. We see Dune getting banned out now as we get into the second phase of bans, but the Alessio getting picked up for the side of SFT. SFT's picking all my favorite heroes right now. Alessio, one of my favorite marksmen. The Schwanza there, one of my favorite roamers as well too. But I do have to mention there, these are not really the strongest picks. Are these really the picks you want to be taking here when you're on match point in the best of 3s? These are kind of low-powered picks here, I'd say.
Yeah, they're not the strongest heroes out there, they're not the OP meta heroes, but sometimes playing the comfortable heroes is better than struggling with a new hero,
True, I'd much rather someone be OP on a weak hero than weak on an OP hero, right? That's what I always say when we play some of this ranked here. But we see Futsu getting banned out for the side of War as well too. And then SFT continuing with their game plan of banning out mid laners for second rotation there, as they're not picked yet, as we see the Mai and the Gan and Mo being removed.
Yeah, exactly, and we see the Yohuan pick, which is usually could be played tank, since the enemy team already have the anti-CC hero, so they can just heal the team, slow them maybe.
Yuan, one of the most flexible heroes in Honor Kings, if not the most flexible. It's oftentimes the most picked heroes, but not today, as they last second swap to the Neza, actually. Very interesting stuff. But Yuan, we're definitely going to see more Yuan in the circuit here, as we see SFT opt to take the Yang Zhuan this time. They saw what devastation it caused last game, and they opt to go ahead and try it out for themselves this time.
Actually, I want to say the hero Neza is very underrated. We saw him only on the high level KPL, but the hero is insanely strong, and it's really hard to play against. That's the thing. You don't see him a lot in the competitive, but it's really hard to play against.
Yeah, he's kind of like a hate hero, kind of, right? Kind of like Sima Yi, where if he wants someone dead, he can expend a lot of resources on that person, and there's not much they can really do about it. And it looks like this game, that is going to be going on to the Alessio and the Nua here. But look at this. It's actually going to be a Yang Zhuan clash potentially here, as we see Ying getting picked up on the side of SFT.
Yeah, I actually want to see the Liu Bang Nisa combo. It's the unstoppable combo. But looks like because they took Sipora already, so they didn't want to just mess up the drafts, and they took the Zia pick actually.
Zia, one of the picks that got buffed recently. You don't see Zia too often, but he's not like a pick that you never see as well too, right? So it's interesting to see how it does. Zia giving you that late game assurance, being able to bless an ally to get him all the way up to level 25. I don't think I've ever seen a pro game where someone gets 25, but if it comes out, it's really exciting because they get all those stats here. Speaking of stats, here's a look at the cash prize once again. $4,400 USD cash prize going to these teams here. And we also have some stuff going over to the viewers as well. When you go ahead and do exclamation point giveaway, you get a chance to win some gift cards. And for those of you guys watching in person in an in-person watch party, we have some peripherals going out to those as well too. So prizes for everyone, the players, the viewers, everyone included, as we see game 2 get underway now.
Yeah, but I actually like the Zia pick. If he just farm well in the early game and help the jungle, he can just take some XP from the jungle camps and level up very fast. Even he can get the level 15 at 6-7 minutes, and maybe he can help Marco Polo or the Neza level up very fast.
Yeah, the Zia pick in the mid lane kind of punishing the more passive support on the side of SFT, right? Zia usually a kind of vulnerable mid laner against these tank supports like Liang Po can easily engage onto them. But now that War knows, now that SFT doesn't have that, they can pick something like the Zia and be a little bit more greedy and play for the late game.
Yes, exactly. And you see the Guaguzzo in bot, but actually I would love to see the Roman Guaguzzo. Because if you're not even gonna win the lane, you can just help your teammate, you know.
Yeah, he's walking with his jungle here, looking for some plays. We see the side of War very dense and compacted, right? Similar to game 1 when they sent 4 people mid, they're all playing kind of together as that 4-man core and leaving the Clash laner alone here.
Yeah, it looks like for the red team, they know a lot about the game. They would love to share the gold. Because if you share the gold actually with more than 3 people, it go less, but they helping the jungle since his tank to get more gold and faster clearing the waves.
Yeah, it's a bit of a min-max here. We see the teleport come out here onto the Ying in the mid lane, it looks like. Not much happens there, but we see an engagement in the river. Neza getting dropped really low. Both sides all out fighting here. Wow, look at that 3-man here from the Ying. Fever Barrage comes out as well too. Everyone getting dropped low. First blood onto the Dharma as they are still chasing. Fight is still going on here. Guaigutsu gets a connection onto 2 there and gets away. It looks like both teams are gonna be happy with a 1-for-1 here. Jungle for Clash laner here. So pretty good start for both sides. SFT looks like they're holding their own a little bit better, but as we see last game as well, they in the very early game they held as well too. It's gonna be the Tyrant fight that really decides the game.
Yes, exactly. Even the Dharma missed the ult, and we got the perfect ult from Ying, knocking 3 people out, but it went 1-1 for non-winner of them.
Yeah, I'm surprised that with that 3-man, it still went 1-for-1, right? It looked like SFT were gonna win that one pretty handily, but I have to attribute that a little bit to, you know, the Schwanza not having as much impact in the very early game here. One of the weaker supports, if they had someone stronger that could have chain CC'd there, maybe like the Liang Po or something like that, or the Lapu Lapu, they could have definitely gotten a little bit more there, but since they had a more passive support, they were not really ready for that all war there that happened in the river.
Yeah, exactly. If the support were there and they had ult, could be a different story. But 40 minutes left for the Dragons. Probably both teams gonna kiss the Dragons since the Slayer is not an option in the early game.
Yeah, both Clash Laners farming up here. Interesting to see Yang Juan in the Clash Lane. As we mentioned, he's mainly played in the jungle, but some teams still opt to go ahead and take him there in the Clash Lane. He can still scale up pretty well.
Yeah, both teams want the Dragon buff. Maybe if they couldn't fight, they could go for the Slayer trade, or they could play for the top lane tower.
Yeah, last game we saw that SFT didn't go for the trade. They opt to just kind of let it go away, which is not favorable. Oh, speaking of going away here, Yang Juan trying to make the Dharma go away here. Truth Monitor comes out defensively, Flash being burned there. It looks like SFT has good priority in the Clash Lane. Now maybe they can use the teleport and be early for this Tyrant potentially.
Yeah, even though the blue team lost someone, but they still got the Yang Jiang coming up. But probably it's gonna be too late for him.
Yeah, once again, War opts to get that Tyrant there, and that's going to set the pace of the game. Yang Juan jumping in there, not much happening. Guaigutsu's, he's a tricky little guy. You know, he's able to go invisible and speed away here. Very interesting to see what plays he makes later on. But this is kind of more of the same as Game 1. While War is not as ahead as Game 1, they're kind of walking away with the gold lead. You know, very similar to Game 1.
Yeah, 700 gold is not a big difference, and probably because the Dharma took the top wave while Yang Jiang was roaming helping his team. But still, it looks like the Marco Polo is trying to get the bot tower, and maybe the Nizza, we're gonna see a Nizza ult maybe.
Yeah, Marco Polo getting a good amount of farm here now. He has some of his items ready where he can wave clear really quickly. The Xuanzi has not made too much of an impact yet. You really want to see him in those mid-game team fights where he's able to get these multi-man shields. Speaking of team fights, wow, look at that amazing pull onto the Ying here. They were not expecting that as Guaigutsu comes from invisibility to lock them down. Flash crowd control as well here coming out. That's what that pick is good for, right? The Guaigutsu is able to surprise the enemies. You're coming out of invisibility and having flash. That is not something you can really play against.
Yeah, that's the problem if you pick support with the anti-CC. You have to be everywhere almost, or your team is gonna die like this.
Absolutely. Marco Polo getting some more kills now too, has a killing spree now. And Marco Polo, one of those marksmen that once they get ahead, it's really hard to play against because he itemizes defensively. It's not like Arlie where even if Arlie is like a 10-0, they're still squishy. Marco Polo ends up later on getting the succubuses, the winters, right? The frigid charges where he gets relatively durable and it makes it hard to actually catch him out. So that's not a character you want to get ahead if possible.
Yeah, you almost have no one close enough to catch the Marco Polo, and you play against Zhuangzi. He's very slow to move. Marco Polo with his burst damage and the true damage, it's really easy to kill the support.
Yeah, while he's not able to use the stun, he's just able to cut through the shields of the side as SFT there because they have so much AoE damage. But these mid-game team fights are still going to be a decider. War is up 2,000 gold, but if SFT is able to go ahead and take the next Tyrant, I'd say their team fighting is very, very strong.
Yeah, but looks like all the teams are split evenly, but we see TP from Dharma here trying to get the bot tower.
Wow, look at this. Marco Polo getting them under tower. They're just hammering them under tower. And when they decide to greed and stay to defend the tower on low HP, like the Xuanzi there, they get dove on there. Another double kill for the side of War. This is not looking good for SFT once again. While in the ultra early game, it looks like they were holding their own. It looks like in the mid game, this time War is pressing their lead a little bit more. They have more of a aggressive composition with that Marco Polo, the Neza, the Guaigutsu, and they're pressing their lead as they're getting kills upon kills.
And we see the ult from Dharma catching the Noah, and of course the support wasn't there to help her.
Man, this Marco Polo is so big right now. I think he's like 5-0, 6-0 currently, and he is itemed up way. He gets caught out potentially a little bit here, forced to use the ultimate to get away there actually, and there's a shutdown. This could be what SFT needs.
Yeah, actually that's the big shutdown for the Marco Polo, and you don't want to feed the Yang Jiang. You know what happened when you feed the Yang Jiang.
Yeah, this could be what SFT needs to kind of get a window to claw their way back into the game. They're still down 4,000 gold, which is going to be very, very rough here. But they have hope, you know? If they could win a fight there, take out the most important player on the side of War while being down 5,000 gold, they can definitely do it while being down 4,000 gold. But they're kind of on a bit of a clock here as we see Zia almost level 15 now and getting the capability to bless an ally. If it goes to the ultra late game, they're going to be struggling here as well.
Yeah, probably one of the fair carries is gonna be Marco Polo. He could give Neza since Neza can also kill the backline, but I want just to see that both teams split pushing actually. Since the blue team actually losing the game, maybe Dharma or Yang can do something on the side.
Yeah, typically the marksmans are going to be the one getting blessed just because they scale the best off of just raw base stats, which is what the levels are going to give you. And if you think a level 15 Marco Polo with a succubus and everything's tanky, wait till you see a level 25 one, right? As you see Guaigutsu going for the flash control here, barely missing out on the Ying here. Look at that, Marco Polo comes in, does not quite get the finish. It looks like War is getting a little bit ahead of themselves. They're a bit overzealous as we see Marco Polo, the strongest member of the team, dying back to back actually in these fights.
Yeah, it looks like Team War getting more comfortable, and actually the second time killing the Marco Polo, which is the carry of the team.
Yeah, War does not seem to have that same sense of control as they had in the first game here. It seems like they're kind of wanting to close out the game here. They're playing really aggressively. They are getting a lot of kills here with the Guaigutsus trying to get some pulls off, but also members of them are going down and they're giving away a lot of shutdowns here.
Yeah, it could be just because they know their late game is even better, so don't just care, maybe do some plays, all good.
Yeah, they're opting for some trades here. These trades are definitely going in the favor of SFT because they do get the shutdowns, but they are still controlling the game kind of in the sense that the minion waves are pushing over the side of SFT. They still have the Zia there pushing out these waves, and they do still have that 5,000 gold lead. But now we see the enhanced objectives come up, and this is going to be pivotal here.
Yeah, 5k in 10 minutes, actually it's a big gold diff, but if you make it to late game, it's gonna be nothing. So the best way to win this game for SFT is make the game longer. Even though you play against Zia, it's the best move for you.
Yeah, maybe they can get a good Tempest Dragon, and once it comes down to Tempest, gold does not matter anymore. Everyone has full build. It just comes down to whoever last hits that Tempest here. And this Tyrant, a lot of positioning around the Tyrant. For once, it survived longer than like 5 seconds, it feels like. Not for long though here as it gets rushed down. But usually the teams just rip it the second it comes up. But this time, they look for the fight. SFT's not giving it to them though, and they back up and just go ahead and concede the Tyrant. I would like to see them trade for the Overlord potentially, right? If they're not going to fight for the Tyrant, maybe trade for the Overlord and have that summon to give yourself a little bit of breathing room.
Yeah, actually Team War is doing very good. Even though the team was trying to contest, they didn't want to go for the 50-50 fight, so they just wait for them to go for the waves and secure the objective.
Yeah, Zia constantly providing cover fire here. Wow, look at that. Marco Polo, beautiful ultimate onto 3 here. And everyone outside SFT just goes down. This could be the end of the game here. 3 down for SFT. Or maybe 4 coming up here. I don't know. No, the Nez is just trying to waste as much time as possible. They do get 1 back as we see them take a high ground. They're still looking to make the push. It looks like Zia getting the ultimate down on the crystal. Not much damage coming out. Flash goes on to the Ying with another beautiful combo. Ying landing good combos all game here. And it looks like that's going to be enough for them to hold the game maybe. No, 4 down for the side of SFT. It is only Ying now left to hold. And War gets another high ground and backs away. Nua spawns up as the Annihilation does not connect. Wow, what a series of events right there.
Yeah, the Ying actually have a really good combos, but no one actually could follow since the 2 carries was dead.
Ooh, Marco Polo once again playing really aggressively. You know, when you play so aggressive, you are able to find those beautiful 3-man ultimates, but also sometimes you get caught like right there.
Yeah, Marco Polo is very strong in team fights, but if you play against hero like Ying with a lot of CC, you can even cancel your cold, cancel your first. You can do anything with your basic skills.
Yeah, Schwanza there with a great kill onto Dharma because it actually staggers him for a long time. He's not going to be up for 38 seconds. That might have been his first death there. And that's going to give SFT a lot of breathing room here where they're on the map with the numbers advantage. Neza potentially getting caught here again as he is forced to back away here. War is taking a bad fight here. This is a 3v4 for the side of War here. Let's see what happens. Schwanza ult comes out. Annihilation comes out. They are still fighting though. 3v4. Disadvantage, but they have the heart and they actually take the win on that fight. I'm surprised.
Yeah, they saw it's a 3v5 fight, so maybe you can get some kills since the Dharma and Marco Polo is not here. But still the gold diff is really big, so they couldn't get any kills.
Yeah, 7,000 gold lead is gonna make it so that 3 players feels like 4 there, right? Maybe even 5 as they take the kill there. The Neza is deceptively durable here with all his shielding. They tried to catch him out earlier, similar to like, you know, the Yang Juan from first game, but they're just not quite able to catch him out. They don't have enough firepower yet. We have not seen much about the Alessio this game. He's kind of just, you know, been in the background. Once he gets some items, maybe we can see some stuff get done, but a pretty tame game from the Alessio here.
Yeah, that's what you want. You want Dozier to poke, waiting for the Neza to find a good ult, and the Marco Polo just bursting any tank in the front.
Yep, the Guaigutsu also looking for some flash plays as he has flash available. We've seen him do excellent flash pulls here onto the enemy, which are so hard to play against because you have to play against someone invisible that flashes on you as well too. You just need near perfect, if not perfect, reaction time to be able to respond to something like that.
Yeah, even though the red side team had 3 waves and the big Slayer, they decided to go back since one of them was low HP and no mana, so they decided to play safe and go for the dragon.
So similar to the game 1 here, we see 3 high grounds down for side SFT. This means that they're gonna have to at minimum have 1 person stuck in their base tending to the waves for basically the entirety of the game. Because once you have those 3 high grounds down, those elite minions are gonna be coming down, and if you do not tend to them, they will strike down your crystal.
Yeah, and here actually the blue team synergy will show up if they're gonna focus the wave or focus the people. You have to choose focus the hero or the wave. If you focus the heroes and not the wave, you might just lose the game.
You might get backdoored on here. So this is a really bad spot for side of SFT because they're against the Zia as well too now. So the late game is almost assured for side of War. Let's see if War opts to go. Oh, look at that beautiful flash. But they are CC immune there though. Neza diving into with the Skyfall does not quite get the kill, but they're pushing SFT all the way back into their base and allowing these minions to kind of make the crystal vulnerable. Marco Polo actually goes down 1 for 1, 1 for 2 here actually. SFT, 3 members try to desperately defend Yang Juan in the middle of the fight there, and he ends up getting away. No, he does not. 3 are down for side SFT. This could be the end of the game here. War with all of 4 members up, pushing inside SFT's 2.
Yeah, the moment Neza all the blue team just split away, just afraid of the damage of Neza, but the moment they regrouped, Marco Polo used this ult to kill most of them.
And that is going to be a team wipe here as War decisively takes both games here. 2-0 for the in favor of War there. They are going to be going to finals tomorrow, whereas SFT is going to be fighting the loser of our next match here for that 3rd place.
Yeah, it was a really good game from Team War, and they still made it to the final without losing any single series. Good job for them.
Yeah, War showing that they are quite the competitor here, right? No losses yet, and those matches, I'd say, were not really that close. Once they had control of the game, it never felt like they gave anything back. Maybe in the second game there, the Marco Polo did have some slip-ups, but even when that was happening, they were up 5, 6, 7,000 gold the entire time. And it looks like your MVP actually goes over to the Guaigutsu, you know? He made a bunch of amazing plays here. 1-0-21. Now that is a support KDA to be proud of there, and an SS ranking as well.
It's actually really impressive playing that hero against the most counter hero, and you play against Yang. It's actually really impressive. But actually the hero is good only against Alessio since she can reveal him in the second skill.
Yeah, you can go ahead and pull him in. They do have the Swanza there to try to, you know, disable it and purify that crowd control, but they were not really able to get that done. The Guaigutsu's early game, even if you do purify, he has solid early game damage as well too, which we saw in those initial skirmishes, because it felt like SFT was supposed to win those skirmishes, but their support just was not providing the same impact as the enemy support in the ultra early game there, which Guaigutsu was able to provide there. Beautiful stat line all around per side of War here, and now we got to get ready for our next match, which is going to be some very good teams. Okay, one of the teams is called Very Good. It's going to be Very Good versus Maya Street, both teams from Italy, so a bit of a, you know, rivalry there potentially, right? Seeing who is going to be the best from their region.
Yes, we have team Very Good actually, nice name, and they made it to the qualifier also without losing any single game. And we have the, what's the other team name? Team Maya
Street, yep.
Yeah, we saw a lot of Diadia from Team Maya Street, and they're doing a lot of the pay Diadia combo actually, which is really interesting. early game, just play for the early game. If you win the early game and you don't do any mistake in the mid game, you can just win the game.
Yeah, the exciting thing about something like the campus series here is you're going to see a lot of players play their comfort picks, right? These are, these are strong players, but they're also going to school as well, right? They're not full-time professional players yet. So you're going to see they opt to go for these comfort picks, and that's what's fun about it, because you don't get to see the Guaigutsu all the time, right? You don't get to see these fun Alessio, these picks all the time in the other higher levels of play. So it's great that we see them now here, and to show, all the heroes in Honor of Kings are viable if you play them correctly. And I think War demonstrated that perfectly in that game.
Yeah, actually, we just saw 2 games and we didn't see any of the Luna, we didn't see any of the long pick. So even though they're not playing the most OP heroes, they still have their own way to plan the draft. They still have the one to play the comfortable pick for them, and they're still doing good.
Yeah, I'm going to be very excited. I still want to see the Lapu Lapu, man. All right, one of my new favorite heroes, right? As well as the the Gardua, the bird guy, right? I love playing him too. That ultimate is so fun to be able to shoot down the lane and then pressure the enemies. We have not seen any of them yet, but hopefully they will come out later or sometime in the series. But that is going to be match 1. He's going to go over to the side of War, and we will also be seeing them again tomorrow in the grand finals against the victor of this next game coming up.
Yeah, and actually the very good team play a lot of Lapu Lapu.
All right, before we get into game 2, let's go ahead and have a quick break. Before we go to break as well, too, ! giveaway, guys, to join up on the giveaways. I want to see you guys winning some prizes, but that is going to be it for this, and we're going to take a quick break until we get into match 2.
No matter how far I go, I never forget the way back home. Home is wherever your family is. Time for bed. Sleep well. Check this out. Watch this area. You're not getting away. Do you hear the snow fall? Snowball fight! The storm's not over yet. Keeping your balance is an important skill for a hunter.
Legend tells of Chiyo, who forged weapons from metal, the bow, polearm, spear, dagger axe, and halberd. Today, his descendant hones 100 crafts. She commands the 5 weapons, shaking the heavens.
Things no one in this world has ever done before? Is only because I, Chicha, haven't given it a try yet.
That hot-tempered little girl is trading ores for another furnace to forge with again. Who knows what she's planning to make this time?
No wonder she's been dragging me everywhere to find forging materials lately. I'm totally worn out.
The Dawnseekers call her the forging fanatic. Besides forging, she doesn't care about anything else.
As for her quirky outfit, you could say it's tailored entirely for her craft.
Isn't it obvious? Wind and fireproof goggles, mountain climbing boots perfect for gathering ore, and miniature molds of the 5 arms.
But the thing most worth mentioning is her weapon case.
She reforged the cores of the 5 arms into that case, and poured an incredible amount of effort into it, and somehow, it turned into a divine weapon that can shift between multiple forms. I'll admit, this girl really does have talent.
Each of the divine weapons forms is unique and extraordinary in its own way, and in her hands she swaps between them effortlessly, unleashing astonishing power. I've seen that bow myself. It left quite the impression. In a fight, she's definitely a worthy opponent.
And when she summons all 5 arms together, she can ride them through the air, gaining overwhelming might. People who underestimate her because of her small stature have learned their lessons the hard way.
Hey. You two over there sneakily whispering away again. If you're so free, why not help me find more ore? I'm already running low on forging materials. And you, Heaven Hound. Enough eating. Time to get going.
As the Forge Inheritor, Chicha has multiple weapons and cycles through them in this order: polearm, spear, dagger axe, halberd, bow. This is her passive skill. With each basic attack, she recovers health and switches her weapon and combat form. When her basic attack or skills hit, she gains a stack of fighting spirit which boosts her attack speed, stackable up to 8 times. When Chicha is in her defense form, skill 1 is a crowd control and dash skill. Chicha carries the enemy along while dashing to a target direction, dealing damage to and launching enemies along her path. Skill 2 is a recovery skill. Chicha thrusts forward in the target direction, knocking enemies back and recovering her health. When Chicha is in her offense form, her skills will change. After casting skill 1, she dashes in a target direction, carrying enemies to her landing point and launching them. Skill 2 becomes a sweeping attack that deals damage, knocks back targets within range, and recovers her health. The more enemies this skill hits, the more health she recovers. When Chicha is in her overkill form, her weapon transforms into a bow. Skill 1 fires a piercing arrow in the target direction and knocks back enemies. If an enemy hits a wall, they are immobilized for a short duration. For Skill 2's duration, Chicha has crowd control immunity and damage reduction, dealing grievous damage to enemies and knocking them back while recovering her health. This skill can hit up to 5 enemies. Her ultimate has an enhancement effect. After using it, Chicha gains a burst of movement and attack speed and breaks through her fighting spirit limit. Her basic attack can also be used while moving, dealing extra damage when hitting enemies.
Hello everyone, welcome back to the Honor of King Campus series. We just saw a very exciting game 1, which I would dare say was a bit of a stomp, right, on the side of war here though. So hopefully we get a more close game here coming up for match 2, as we have very good versus Maya Street, both teams from Italy. So a little bit of bragging rights there as well.
Yeah, we're gonna see the both Italian team fight. And actually, one of the teams play Maisha New and they play the Lapu Lapu. That's why I'm actually very excited for this match.
Yeah, very excited. I've been trying to see Lapu Lapu, but it's been banned both of the games earlier. Hopefully we see it come out here as well too. That could be a very action-packed game if we get both the Mai and the Lapu Lapu come out. And these teams are playing for, they're not playing for nothing. They're playing for a grand prize of $2,035 team prize. The difference between 4th place and 1st place is almost 3x here. So there's a lot of money on the line, USD here, with a prize pool of $4,400 here for these teams. So it pays to be good. It pays to go ahead and join up and provide these amazing performances for everyone here. And that's what all these teams are going to be playing for here today.
Yeah, let's talk a little bit about the style we saw from the team Maya before. They like to play the late jump comp. We say that they play a lot of pay Dia combo, and they usually play for the farm lane or late game scaling hero, and they just Pei carry the early game with the idea, then if they make it to late game, it's actually a very stable team comp.
Yeah, Pei is one of those heroes that, like, you either super win a game or you lose, right? And we've seen in similar to other campus or you know, more amateur series is that the Pei is a little bit hit or miss. You know, players are not that. So I'm gonna be very excited to see how they go ahead and pilot the Pei for this game coming up here. Here is a look at the prize pool once again with the universities that are attending in this grand finals here.
And yes, and from the other side, we saw a lot of tank support heroes and their flexible jungle picks, but I would love actually to see more assassin than jungle since they already play tank supports, and we want to see some Mai picks also and a little bit of Lubu Fuzi combos.
Yeah, for sure. The assassin, junglers, and mid laners like the Mai there make for these really explosive games, right? Our last game we watched with the Marco Polo and the Guayagutsu was such an explosive game. We see action all throughout the game, great combos, great ultimates, and in these explosive games too, I would say it's not as calculated, right? We see even though War was winning, they dropped some deaths here and there because when you're playing aggressive, that's the risk of it, right? You could actually go down, and that makes it it's a great entertainment game as well too on both sides. We see deaths, kills, trading back and forth. War did come out victorious in that game there though, but still it was a very exciting game where it looked at some moments maybe, you know, they were not in full control.
Yeah, and again for this, both teams, it's their first time playing against each other, so the first game probably gonna be both team reading the other team, seeing what style they'll go for, give them some picks, see what they're comfortable playing.
Absolutely, yeah. We're getting ready to go ahead and get into the first game of the second match. We have two best of threes today, and tomorrow we also have another two best of threes for first place and third place. So teams that lose today are unfortunately out of the running for first place. They are gonna just be competing for third place tomorrow. So it's very important that they go ahead and lock in and show up today, because if you don't perform today, you're not gonna get a chance at that first place tomorrow.
Yeah, but even if you lose, you're still gonna play for the third place. It's not the same prize pool, but all the teams, of course, want to play to be the champion of the KCS.
Absolutely, and this is the KCS Europe format. We have a KCS for the West as well too. So there's lots of KCSs. Make sure you guys are going on to all of Honor Kings Discord, checking if your school or any of your universities are participating and trying to join in, grab some friends and play. This is a great way to go ahead and break into the pro scene as well too. As Zenon was mentioning earlier, this is a great stepping stone to give you a little bit of a taste of pro play, right? Playing with a team, showing up, playing on tournament, getting your matches casted by me and Zenon here. It's a great way to break in.
Yeah, exactly. Even though the rank and the pick matches can help you find a team, but the best way always to get some experience from the community tournament, put your feet there and just give it a try.
Yeah, it's how you get your feet wet, right? And you can maybe make some friends along the way too. Some of my best friends are made during my journey as a pro player, you know? And I want to see that for you guys here that are in these universities that love playing Honor Kings. This could be a great step forward for you guys here. And not only do you get to make friends, play some Honor Kings, but what's even better than all that, making money on the way too, playing for these ginormous prize pools, right? And for those viewers at home that are not quite ready to go ahead and play, that are just watching and supporting, we have something for you guys as well too. Exclamation point giveaway in the chat to get your chance at winning some gift cards and tokens. And in the IRL watch parties in some of these universities, you can even win some peripherals as well.
Exactly, playing your best game, winning some money, having some fun with your friends, that's esports, that's what you want.
Yep, that is what esports is all about here. Let's go ahead and get into the drafts here as we see a Liang ban. There we go. Liang is one of those here. I love banning the Liang personally, right? Whenever I'm playing solo queue, I hate getting grabbed by the Liang, you know, and then watching my teammates walk around and kind of do nothing. So I love that ban from them there, from VGD there. Very relatable.
Yeah, the Liang ban is very common actually as a first ban, but actually the Maya team play a lot of Diadia, so maybe banning the Liang is not the best option for them.
Yeah, the idea is a pretty good matchup, right? Being able to go ahead and, stun him out of it from range or at close range as well, too. Liang is one of those picks that some teams care about it and then some teams don't. We've seen in the first match there that Liang was not picked or banned in any of the games. They just ignored it. But maybe very good here. Did a little bit of homework on Maya, and they know that they like playing the Liang, so they go ahead and opt to remove it early. And same with the Mai Shinura.
Yeah, always in the high play, we always see the Liang Frost combo. But actually, we see the Diadia ban from Maya team. So they actually banned their heroes, and we see the first pick from VGD, the Tiger pick.
Yeah, Pei being picked up here. So they're kind of breaking up each other's combos here, right? Maya, you mentioned played Diadia a lot, but they're probably saving it for next game here as they go ahead and remove it for now. They don't want Very Good to pick it up as their first pick, but they do opt to pick up the Pei instead, which is something they like playing as well. But we see the Dolia come out. The Dolia Yang that's the combo we're talking about, right? Double ultimates there for the Yang That could be very devastating in the mid game.
Yeah, even though they took the picks from them, they took the Tiger, but the team Maya was ready. They took the Yang Jiang and Dolia combo, which is one of the strongest combo and the hardest to counter.
Yeah, that's the benefit of being second pick. While you do not get to pick, the most popular or the most powerful hero, you do get to pick set bonuses, right? You get to pick combos. Then there's not much Very Good could do about that. It's up to their rotation for Maya. They can go ahead and lock in the Dolia combo with the Yang Yuan. You can also pick Dolia with some other heroes there too. That's the power of second pick, being able to just lock in a confirmed combo there.
Yeah, usually it's like that. If you first pick, you just take one hero. The second pick, you just take two OP heroes if it's possible, and that's what will usually happen. We see the Fatih pick also, which is very annoying to play if you're playing Dharma.
For sure. Looking so far like Maya has a great composition for Dolia. Everyone does not mind getting their ultimate reset so far, right? The Yang Juan's probably the favorite for the Dolia, but even if they need to reset the Fatih, that's great too. That's 2 times in the fight where he gets to go immune to crowd control and break out, as well as gaining that maximum health and all those stat boosts as well too. So that could be devastating if Fatih ends up getting ahead instead of the Yang Juan.
Yeah, exactly. So Ladies are trying to give him a hard time, but you're playing against 2 heroes that anti-CC, so it's gonna be a really hard time against them.
Yeah, Lady Jen known for kind of disrupting these melee heroes, and while the side of Maya is kind of impervious to that crowd control, Lady Jen still packs a punch, right? If she can't slow you down, if she gets ahead, she can just kill the melees. A great counter to melee picks there, Lady Jen being locked in, as well as maybe potentially using that Dharma to, peel some of the characters off of them with the Truth Modulator, push them away too. Pretty well-rounded lineups from both sides.
Yeah, after all, anti-CC is only 1 skill, and for a few seconds it could be the Lady Jen stun, then the Dharma follow-up. Who knows? We can see maybe some combo wombos, and we see the Byron ban and the Lapu Lapu ban actually, so it looks like you're not gonna see him today.
Yeah, while Lapu Lapu made it through for the first 3 picks here, it's not going to make it through for the latter 2 there. Interesting that it was not picked up on either side there. It could have easily been taken away for a side of VGD as well. But maybe they thought that since Maya already picked their support, they're going to force them to go ahead and ban it by not picking their support later on. As you see, the first time Long and Flowborn coming out so far for today. Long, everyone knows about Long, guys, right? He's easily the safest and most consistent marksman, being able to use that infinite vastness to get out of any bad situation he wants there, makes him super consistent, and having the late game scaling and that true damage from flaming palms is why he's such a contested pick.
Yeah, we know actually Long, this one is the safest pick, and you have Dolia. She can just give him a shield. If you don't kill him in the first 0.5 seconds, he can just ult away and get double ult from the Dolia combo.
Yeah, Maya's composition doesn't really matter who Dolia resets the ultimate on, right? She has great targets all throughout. Everyone has high value, high impact ultimates there. So that's going to make it a really streamlined and easy game for Dolia to go ahead and play there. We see, VGD, wow, Aaron being picked up. Now, that is not a hero you see every day there, the Aaron. We see it a good amount in, our ladder and ranked games, but in pro play, Aaron is a little bit slept on. So we're seeing some of the more underrated marksmen come out here today. We saw the Alessio, now the Aaron.
Yeah, Aaron, one of the heroes that's not gonna be picked a lot in the competitive, but we see it a lot in the KPL, so it could be watching some KPL Chinese games, and it's known for a counter for the Long, so they could be a good move. Who knows? Still weaker, but maybe it's a good move.
Yeah, the Aaron has is able to do something not other marksmen usually can do, and it's to go the magical build if they need, right? If they feel like their team has a lot of physical damage, maybe the Pei they know is going to top the charts and force the enemy to build armor, right, against the Pei early game. Picking up the Aaron could be nice as well too if you go that magical build there and have threats on both fronts. If you don't think that the mid laner is going to, you know, provide enough magical damage there.
Yeah, exactly. Lady Jane is one of the... It could be the second support this game, since they have Tiger. She could just give the waves for the Tiger and feed the Tiger more, and you don't have to do damage. You can just control the enemy, that's it. And Eren could be playing magic, as you said.
Absolutely there. And another thing about Aaron that I feel like people, you know, they sleep on a little bit is since Aaron is able to go that magical build, they have access to the Splendor, which is one of the best anti-dive items in the game there. They're able to go ahead and Splendor when Yang Juan is on top of them potentially, right? When the Fatih's on top of them and buy a lot of time versus Maya's composition there. But here we go. We're getting right into game one here. We see Maya already has 23 kills already. I'm just kidding here. The graphics are a little bit wrong there. But we see level 1 here. Wow, it looks like Maya might be getting a kill here potentially here. No, here we go. We're back onto the right graphics here now here too. And we see fights going on. Wow, all around the map we see characters getting taken down here.
Yeah, Tiger something mid is one of the most annoying thing to play against because he just want to damage you, he doesn't want to kill you, he just want to give a better early game for your team. And we see the Zhangfei early, yeah.
That one felt like it was from experience there, right? Then on, he plays mid, he's played against the Tiger starting mid all the time. He knows exactly how it feels to play against, and it is not fun there as he gets a bit of a start there mid.
Yeah, if you play against Tiger Guan Yu, just wait for the way to come for you.
Yeah, just chill out, stay under tower there. Right? Don't even try it here. Well, we see Fatih with the Chow Chow skin here too, which is interesting, because that's how it was on the Chinese servers here. Bit of a throwback here. As you see an invade coming out, the Pei. Wow, look at that Pei getting a kill under the tier 2 tower on the Yang Juan. That's just the power of the Tiger early game there. Still going for a little bit more here, but absolutely insane pressure coming out.
Yeah, the Maya team, they know the early game is strong for them. Just use it. They're trying to use their advantage as the maximum, since they can. If they make it to late game, it's not gonna easy to win against the Yang Jiang combo.
Yeah, they're gonna fall off, right? So they need to make the best of this early game here. And Pei, we always tout as having one of the best, if not the best early games in the game in general, right? Having all that mobility and damage there. Look how fast he clears that blue buff there. Almost one-shots it. And his ability to do that allows him so much breathing room to either go gank a lane, pressure a lane, or to invade the enemy jungle. We see a lot of action in the mid lane here, though. But Lady Jen, a really safe mid laner, able to just go ahead and disrupt that wave, especially against all these melees here. Zhangfei kind of a little bit caught out here in the middle of 3 people, jumps away, and very good opting to play back in their jungle. Maya with a good amount of lead here, but I'd say if VGD can keep it at under 1,000 gold lead here, they're doing pretty well against the Pei.
Yeah, and they trying to optimize the gold lead with taking some picks from there. It's one of the best way to get advantage from the gold. If you just take the enemy camps, it's not a neutral camp, so it's kind of stealing the gold from them.
Absolutely, yeah. If you remove that resource from the enemy, they don't get to go ahead and get it there and farm, and then they're kind of stuck, right? There's only so much farm on the map there. As you see, a bit more stealing here coming out from the side of Mai here. 3v1 bottom, the long forced to burn the infinite vastness to get away. Not really sure what Mai's doing there. They get the farm, but realistically, they're not going to get the kill. Are they going to get the kill here? Wow. Look at that. They tried to get another kill under the tier 2 tower here. Pei getting dropped really low for attempting that dive here now, though. So Maya could be in a bit of trouble here now. Can Pei go ahead and get away? He gets dropped super low. Yijing trying to get the kill on him there. Nice shutdown onto the Pei there from the Yijing. He went a little bit too overzealous under the tier 2 tower. Very good.
Yeah, it looks like Team Maya overextended a lot in the bot lane, tried to kill the Long, and they still have the flash, so the Yang Jiang could just follow. The Zhangfei wasted the ult on the protect the Tiger, and they just still can't make it, and they lost 2 people there.
Yeah, that skirmish goes ahead and shows the extremes on both ends. The extreme power and early game aggression of Pei being able to dive the tier 2, and the extreme safety of Long. Long gets dove by 3 people in the bottom tier 1, gets away, and then survives a Pei dive in the bottom tier 2. So that's both ends of the spectrum, right there. Maximum aggression and maximum safety.
Yeah, actually the Team Maya was planning to defend him, but if you're playing against hero like Yang Jiang, who's gonna stop him? No one can stop the Yang Jiang with the anti-CC thing.
Absolutely, very good. Has great control over the Tyrant there. A bit of a fight going out here, but they opt to finish up the objective first. And right after the objective goes down, they go ahead and secure Lady Jen, getting kind of caught out. Wasn't really ready for very good to collapse on her there, it seems like. And now they're going to start moving into red buff for the side of Maya. Very good, taking good control of this game, even though their early game did not seem the cleanest.
Yeah, the bot lane failed there, wasted them a lot of time, a lot of gold. You can see they took the dragon already. The Yang Jang is a lot ahead of them, the Tiger. It's gonna be really hard for Maya to come back from this with their strong early game.
Yeah, that shows the razor's edge that you kind of have to play on in Honor Kings, right? They were doing really good. They make one mistake in the bottom lane here, and it cascades into 2 deaths, and then that cascaded into a Tyrant, you know. And now VGD has control of the game versus the Pei, which still is in the early game here, which is very bad for Maya.
Yeah, and they lost one of the 2 most important members.
And the Lady Jen is getting caught out pretty often in these fights. It looks like she's trying to overextend to get that little bit extra damage there and compromising her positioning along the way as she gets picked off 2 times in a row. This is not good. Now Maya's not going to be able to have that wave control from the Lady Jen there to push these waves as Yang Juan opts to clear mid lane and forces the Dharma teleport mid to hold.
Yeah, but we still don't see the same good, even though there is a lot of kills for the very good team. The team Maya still doing good, actually.
Yeah, I think that comes down to how quickly the Pei is able to clear. Even though they are losing bodies and dying, Pei is just able to clear the jungle at like almost double, if not triple the speed of Yang Juan, right? So you're just able to get a artificial gold lead from that. But I don't know how much longer it's going to hold if Yang Juan's able to go ahead and steal this Crimson Golem away from them here now, though.
Yeah, maybe team very good realized actually if we get kills only, we're still gonna be behind since they can farm faster. Let's just take some farm from them.
Absolutely, yeah. They can't farm fast if they have no farm to farm, right? So they go into the enemy jungle there. They know they're strong. They have ultimates available there, and they kind of bully Pei in his own jungle, which is not something you see every day for sure.
Yeah, it's really hard to invade someone like Pei, but if after that mistake from the bot lane, kind of hard to follow up as the Lady Jen and the Cao roaming a lot.
Yeah, now that VGD is in the driver's seat, you know, similar to Maya earlier, it's up to them to not go ahead and give that away, right? They're kind of dictating the pace of this game here now. And this second the second Tyrant fight is going to be very important as both teams are kind of middling right now with the same gold, but whoever gets this next Tyrant is definitely going to regain control of this game. It's looking like VGD has the positional advantage so far though, as they're constantly pushing waves into the Tower of Maya.
Yeah, even though both teams have the same gold, looks like team very good actually controlling most of the map since they can just get the vision. Since Lady Jen is very low range hero, so it's kind of hard to take vision with Lady Jen.
Absolutely, here more of the jungle being contested on the side of Maya here as the Azure Golem gets they actually do smite their way though. The Pei actually secures the smite. Board comes out onto the Pei there. He does secure the Azure Golem, but at what cost? At no cost, as he ends up actually taking out the Yang Juan. This could be the churn that we see from Maya. Pei constantly running into walls here, barely goes down, and pretty even on both sides there. Maya was able to secure their own Azure Golem, but they do lose their Pei and Lady Jen in the process. Lady Jen not really getting the best game, but we see they are building utility there with the Venomous Staff first item.
Yeah, it looks like there is some miscommunication there. Half of the team wanted to run away and the half wanted to fight. But in the end, they realized they're just stronger and they just can kill the Tiger and everyone.
Look at that. Aaron with the ultimate almost takes out the Long. Last second infinite vastness for the Long to go ahead and get away. If one more tick of that ultimate hit, he was a goner there. And the Aaron is actually doing pretty well, right? Lifesteal with the magical items coming out as well too. So a lot of damage and durability coming out from the Aaron, making her very strong in the 1v1 currently.
Yeah, exactly. As you said, Lady Jen going for the anti-heal slow item. You don't need for a lot of gold, and the Aaron will just go for the magical items.
It looks like this Tyrant is potentially flipped here, but no, Yang Juan goes in and secures it. The Zhang Fei is opting to go for the heal instead of the smite, which they see sometimes. Pei jumping over and taking out two. They know that the Long does not have the infinite vastness because the Aaron just burned it earlier. So a nice little double kill for them there. And then the Dolip, VGD is dropping everywhere on all sides of the map currently as Maya regains control of the game, it feels like, even though they lost the Tyrant.
Yeah, even though still mid-game, Tiger is still doing very well, and we're not supposed to see some. We're supposed to see some Dulia ult to the Yang, but it looks like they kind of split. Maybe they want to give the Long the ult, not the Yang.
Yeah, we're not seeing too many of those like synergies yet, right? Even the Long ended up going down without the ultimate there. BGD's composition is built around resetting these powerful ultimates, where we're not really seeing that in execution so far here. As we see now, Maya is contesting the Crimson Golem of the side of BGD. Big fight comes out, board comes out, Yang Juan goes down immediately here, doesn't even get the chance to get reset there, as they trade for the Zhangfei 2 for 2, Pei and Zhangfei for Fatih and Yang Juan here. Very, very bloody game here. Definitely a lot closer than match 1, as we see kills getting traded over on both sides.
Yeah, it looks like the team very good at punishing the team Maya for overextending there, and it's not actually the best time to die since the 2 objectives respond, and both teams gonna be getting position for the draft for the objectives.
Absolutely. Here is the enhanced Tyrant, and it looks like potentially another flip, but no, there's no jungler up on the side of VGD. If Maya opts to go ahead and rush it down here, they have great odds to secure it, but no, they choose to let it reset. This could be a mistake, as this is going to go ahead and give VGD's Yang Juan time to join the fight here and potentially smite away that objective. Both sides opting to not really play for it here. No, VGD says, okay, if you guys are going to walk off it, we're going to go ahead and try to take positioning here. Lady Gen applying a lot of pressure in the corridors of VGD's jungle here with those skills.
Yeah, and it looks like both teams are just going back, trying to get some vision, trying to see who can get the top wave priority so they can follow up for outnumber fights maybe.
Yeah, Fatih's still in the clash lane there, so VGD opting to, play it slow. They don't want to force anything right now here. We hear the Aaron ult come down, not sure what it was on here, getting a little bit of damage onto the Yang Juan there. Dolia actually ends up going down. That is not good, because that means there's going to be no more resets for the remainder of the fight here, so that Yang Juan is not going to get another ultimate. We see Pei try to rush down the Tyrant here while everyone's a little bit distracted. I'm curious why these teams opt to kind of play the Tyrant this way here, right? They lose the Dolia and they opt to just not contest it anymore.
Oh, when we see the ult flash from Dharma actually, and they get a kill on the Long since he doesn't have ult. Actually, the Maya team is doing one of the best ways to counter the Dolia, which is kill her first before she give any ult to anyone.
Absolutely, yeah. If you apply a lot of pressure on that Dolia and you're able to take her out, she's not going to be able to find these spots where they get that perfect reset off. Here we go, another fight comes out. This game is super close, 9-9. Maya does have a pretty sizable gold lead, though, as you mentioned, because of how quickly they can just farm.
Yeah, it looks like Eren have some damage, but only in the squishy Tiger since he doesn't have Void stuff yet, but we see a lot of damage from the Tiger on the Yang.
Yeah, this Aaron has not been in too many fights, but they've been farming a lot, taking towers, and they're going to be doing a deceptive amount of damage there, as they think they're going to have the Tome of Wisdom coming up too. That 3-item core is going to do so much damage once Aaron gets into these fights here.
Yeah, as I said before, if she play magical, she can just buy the Splendor, and it's one of the hardest counter for the Long. You can just ult his first skill and he can do anything.
Absolutely, and when you have so much firepower on you and the enemy's all going to try to jump on you, you just turn on your ultimate, pop that Splendor, and what's Yang Juan going to do is sit on your body and just get like nailed down, right? It's a really good counter to composition for side VGD, and I think now I'm starting to see the Aaron pick come to fruition here. It's actually a pretty good idea here to counter all of the picks of VGD.
Yeah, as you said, we still don't know if the Aaron pick is good or no, but looks like it's working right for them, even though it's not the best OP picks now.
Absolutely. It looks like the Zhangfei was forced to use the Umbrella Outburst defensively just to try and get himself out. He's not going to be able to convert that into much here, as we see Maya trying to get the Overlord. There's the Aaron coming in. Look at that damage there from the Aaron over the wall. Drops the Yijing to 1, and then Pei actually cleans him up, all while the Crimson Golem is being stolen here. Maya taking a super clean fight, 3 for 0. Fatih trying to go ahead and get some trades in. No is not able to find anything there. Beautiful 3 for 0 fight for Maya. It looks like Maya is once again back into the driver's seat of this game.
Yeah, even though it wasn't the best fight for Maya because the support lost the ult, they played it slow. We have the bot wave, but you have to go to defend, so just wait for them to get outnumbered.
Aaron Aaron just going full damage here. It looks like Void Sap being picked up here. So if they're able to play it safe, which it looks like there's not much threat to them with the Zhongfei on their body protecting them, they're able to output so much damage. 2 high ground towers are down for the side of VGD. And just like that, the game has churned. This game has been back and forth from both sides here, but this might be a little bit too much of a lead for VGD to claw out of. They're down 9,000 gold almost.
Yeah, it looks like Team Maya managed the wave better, so they kept getting the outnumbered fight for their side, and they just keep doing the same thing over and over again.
Yeah, it looks like Lady Jen was having a rough early game, but they're finally able to find their footing here in the mid game. And as we were mentioning prior, they're playing as kind of like a secondary support, right? As a utility hero. So it does not matter too much that they're going down, because they're going stuff like the Venomous Staff, they're going to Splendor. They're here to provide that utility here and let someone like the Pei and the Aaron shine.
Yeah, exactly. Lady Jen death doesn't really matter. We see them start losing when the Tiger and the Aaron start dying in the early game, but if you kill the Lady Jen, if you just waste some stuns, if they waste some skills on her, it already did their job.
Absolutely, she's just able to drop that Destructive Deluge there in the fight, apply all that anti-heal slows and damage on the enemy team, and then if she's able to burn some crucial abilities as well too, that makes Pei and Aaron's life just that much easier. Now VGD is forced to go ahead and play Turtle now. In Honor Kings, when you lose these high ground towers, these are like this very decisive blows, right? It makes it so the enemy team is forced to play defensive here, or else they're going to lose to minions. That is usually the nail in the coffin there, the 3rd high ground tower. Now it's going to be almost insurmountable to come out of base for the side of VGD.
Yeah, if you lose the 3 inhibitor towers and if you don't have a really good wave clear heroes, it's going to be a tough time defending the waves.
We are 4 minutes away from Tempest. It's going to be hard to hold, but if they could go ahead and hold out until that Tempest and potentially secure the Tempest, that is probably their only way back into the game right now. Unless Maya takes a horrible fight and they get wiped.
Exactly, yeah. It's almost impossible to win a 10k gold difference fight, so the best way is just play for the Tempest, maybe get some good waves before the Tempest and try to steal.
Yeah, once Tempest comes up, this gold lead's not going to matter too much, right? Every hero can only get 6 items, so as everyone gets a lot of gold, they're all going to be, you know, maxed out kind of as well here too. Maya is going to be in position to end the game here, as they are currently maxed out right now. Look at that, Aaron dropping so much damage, and once again, taking out the Dolia first in these fights here. Yangjuan trying to defend, does trade for the Aaron here, as they go back in. Wait a minute. The VGD has some life to them here currently, it looks like, as they take out 2 maybe, but no, it's not enough as they go ahead and get wiped. The Dharma there, it looks like they were resetting the Sanctuary with Destiny as well too. It looked like they were taking some kills, but it was not enough. Maya here taking game 1, but I do say it's not as decisive, right? It was a bit of a back and forth, and there was a time VGD had a great hold of the game. They just could not go ahead and maintain it.
Yeah, exactly. It just was the Zhangfei ult with the follow-up from Dharma. It was insanely good. Even though the Loom could escape, he couldn't do anything without frontline.
Yeah, that's the power of the Pei. Even though they kind of messed up that dive early game, he has multiple shots, right? Like, when you're under 10 minutes, no matter how behind a Pei is, it's still a Pei, right? It's still going to be able to have that base damage and that base impact. And even though it messed up that dive and got himself pretty behind, I'd say, to the point where he was getting his own jungle invaded, he just found an opportunity where VGD gone ahead and made a mistake, and then instantly got that lead right back because of how quickly he farms. He was never really that behind. He was kind of just keeping up. And then once VGD made a mistake, he was once again ahead.
Yeah, and you can see here the Dharma is actually the MVP, even though I didn't see him a lot in this game. All the spotlight was on the Tiger and his invades, but actually the Dharma did very well.
Yeah, while everyone's trying to focus on getting the Tiger out of the jungle, Dharma's just been kind of, you know, peacefully farming in the early game, right? We know Dharma as this hero that's not the strongest in the early game. He was able to farm, get that economy up until the point where he was strong, and look at the pressure he's able to put out in the mid to late game, right? He has full items here. He's able to land all this damage and also not going down too. It's very important to have no deaths. If you've never died, that means you've never given gold away to the enemy, and that means that you were alive the entire time, farming, doing something on the map, providing pressure, providing impact.
Yeah, exactly. He got like a big shutdown, but he didn't give it until the finish of the game. That's really good. He just did his job by pressing the side lane, taking the wave first, rotating before the Fatih, which is more than enough to outnumber the enemy team.
Absolutely, and even the Lady Gen kind of came back towards the end of the game there, right? We mentioned they were having a bit of a rough early game. They started the game 0-3, and they ended 3-3-8, which is super respectable. They opted to build utility. They understood that, hey, I'm not going to be the star of this game. It's going to be my pay. It's going to be maybe my Dharma, my Aaron. So I'm going to opt to play utility. Let's go anti-heal. Let's go the slow items here. Even a Splendor, just so I can try and waste as much time as possible there. Splendor coming out for the Aaron as well, too, as we were mentioning, making sure that since she does have so much damage, she is able to kind of guarantee apply it in every single fight.
Yeah, exactly. All of the team members know what they're supposed to do and what's their power spikes. They played for some early game, even though they did some mistakes. They still could invade some camps, and they still did their job after all.
While the game was very close, it was Maya that came out ahead there, and now they're up 1-0 in a best of 3, leading us on to match point. And the winner of this is going to be facing WARLIMI tomorrow for that grand prize, for that first place. The loser is going to be playing SFT for that third place. So it's very important you go ahead and perform well today, because even if you perform well tomorrow, it doesn't matter anymore, right? You don't get a chance at first place anymore. You're only playing for that third place. So now is the make it or break it time. Very good. Definitely has a shot against Maya, because that game was very, very close. It came down to both teams kind of, giving back the lead, right? Maya started with the lead. It went back over to very good. Then it gave it back to Maya. Then went back to very good. That was a super, super back and forth game. And it just comes down to who is able to maintain it and hold it until the end of the game.
Exactly, it was actually a very close game, even though some mistakes from both teams, but we're gonna see maybe a different draft, a different heroes, so who knows, it could be a different result for the next game.
Absolutely. I think the next game can go either way, right? It's not like the match one where War, kind of dominantly won their match there. This game could definitely go either way, and those are the most exciting matches, right? The matches where you don't know who the victor is. It could be anyone. We're seeing great plays from both sides, but we're also seeing some mistakes on both sides too, which is normal. You got to learn from your mistakes, right? We're still in the campus series. Players are still learning their heroes and trying to master them here too, but they've been doing well enough to make it into the top 4. So these are very exciting matches for sure.
Yeah, exactly. It's not about playing aggressive or playing safe. You just need to know when you do have to play safe and when do you have to play aggressive. If you have some advantage like the Waya team, you can just go for the Tiger and play aggressive early game, but just don't overextend.
Absolutely. It's a tough balancing act you got to balance, you got to be aggressive and firm and press your lead and go into enemy jungle. But that also opens up the risk of you guys getting caught out and you losing your lead, right? So you got to always tiptoe around that, and that's what makes Honor Kings fun, because it's not a stompy game where once you're ahead you can never lose. You got to still play really safe, if not more safe, when you're ahead, because you're going to be worth more gold per kill now, right? The team that's behind is worth like 170, 130 gold per kill, but they take you out and you're like 5, 6, and 0. You're worth like close to 1,000 gold almost. You're worth a lot of money. So it has that tough balancing act to always keep you on your toes even when you are ahead. Speaking of being on your toes, these teams got to be on their toes, because look what is at stake here, guys. $4,400 USD cash prize here is going to be the prize pool for the grand finals here. First place taking down over 2,000 USD, and last place taking down just shy of 700 USD. So you really do want to place high in this. Every placement jumps up a good amount of money here. So these teams are going to be giving it their all, and you know what, you can use that to get you some of these newer skins that we see in the game too. Beautiful skins in the game, like the Shou Yue skin, the Zhang Fei skin. Absolutely love those. And once you get a 2,000 team prize, you bet yourself that these teams will be getting themselves some nice skins.
Yeah, exactly. Even if you lost today and didn't make it to the grand final, still you can play for the third place for more cash prize.
Absolutely. And for those of you guys watching at home too, if you want some of these skins as well too, join our giveaway, guys. ! giveaway in chat. And if you guys are watching during these campuses, we also have some peripheral prizes as well too, which is going to be very exciting. We're going to go into game 2 of match 2 here soon. Here's a look at the brackets. We see that SFT is going to be in the lower bracket here from match 1. WARLIMI is going to be facing the winner of this match 2 here, which so far looks like it's going to be Maya, as they're halfway there and already on that match point. Here we go. We're getting into match 2 very, very close. And this is also, we mentioned that they're both from Italy as well too. There has to be a little bit of rivalry there, right? Both teams are from the same region. You want to be top dog of your region too, right? There's going to be a bit of that. Whereas WARLIMI was from the United Kingdom, so it was kind of a regional kind of clash there for this second match, whereas the first one, they were in different regions. We are going into game 2 now. Drafts are coming up. Can we see a Lapu Lapu one time with the newest hero from Honor Kings? Let's go ahead and find out.
Exactly, you still didn't see the Lapu Lapu, you still didn't see the my pick, you still didn't see a lot of actually good picks today.
I want to see the Gardua as well too, right? One of my new favorite mid lane pickups there too. I don't think he's crazy strong, but like he definitely has the niche. He has that range DPS that not many other heroes can kind of do right now. We see Mai being removed and Dolia being removed as well too. Let's see how this draft plays out.
I hope actually we see some Garuda picks as a mage. I would love actually to play the heroes, or I would love to watch it also. The strongest part about Garuda is the zoning. His zoning ability is insane. Every time you want to go for a tower, you want to go for an objective, just all damage the enemy, just move them out of the way and take the objective.
He's like a better version of the Xia ultimate, right? You know how Xia wants to like lay down that suppressive fire to soften up the enemies for a dive? He has just like a way stronger version of that. His ultimate being able to last, you know, like 80 arrows or so, and then just being able to cut people down that try to go ahead and defend. Also, I like that his like early to mid game skirmishes are really good actually. He's able to shield, he's able to move around, and his auto attack is really powerful in an early game skirmish. They're able to pierce through and hit both enemies there. We see the Pei get removed this game here. Maya just did amazing work on it, and they know how powerful that pick is, so they go ahead and remove it. And look at that! Lapu Lapu gets picked up for the side of VGD as their first pick.
Finally, we saw the Lapu Lapu pick when we want to see how strong he is, and we actually might see also the Garuda pick with the Diaria.
Zenon, I think they're watching the stream right now. They heard us. They're like, all right, the casters want to see the Lapu Lapu and the bird. Let's go ahead and pick them up here. They bait us with that a bit as they actually lock in the Huan instead. We were mentioning earlier the Yuhan. It is one of the most consistent and flexible picks here. It is likely going to be in the mid lane position here, but you can also play a Clash. You can also play a jungle even too, but those are pretty uncommon in competitive play, I would say.
Yeah, exactly. Probably we're gonna see her mid lane since they took the Diadia. It could be jungle though, but we still don't know.
For sure. Let's see what VGD rounds out their first 3 here with. And the Shi, wow, okay, the Shi and then the Ada being picked up as well too. Look at that, very durable on the side of VGD here with the Lapu Lapu and the Ada. Now that is an insane front line, and I love that they picked that up actually, because they identified so far that Maya does not have a high damage mid laner. Yuan is known for a lot of things, but damage is not really one of them, right? When you pick these 2 brick walls here and you see that the enemy team doesn't really have the wrecking ball mid there, it could be a great matchup. I love the draft from VGD so far.
Yeah, exactly. They realized Yuan, she can do a lot of damage against tanks, so let's just pick some more.
Yeah, Yuan's usually like the counter to assassins, really, because she has good base damage, but she doesn't have that firepower that like someone like the Nua or the Lady Jen has to cut down these bruisers. So great from VGD for identifying that in the draft. Maya just goes in and rounds out their pick with the solid Fati. You can never really go wrong with Fati there, and that gives them a little bit extra sustain damage to maybe cut down the tanks on the side of VGD so far.
Yeah, and actually very good one of the signature hero they have is the Pei and the Ata. So since Maya banned the Pei pick, they will just go for the Ata pick and see how they go with it.
Yeah, and Ada's one of these picks that, you know, a lot of pros play in the jungle, even though in kind of ladder, you see people play in the Clash lane. So we're not too sure where they're going to go ahead and play it here now. We've seen these heroes kind of flex around. We see Young Juan in the jungle and then in Clash. So that's going to be interesting to see coming up. Lapu Lapu could potentially be Clash as well, too. It's probably going to be Roam, but it has been played in the Clash lane sometimes as well, too. Now we're back onto Maya here. How are they going to pick? They need to pick some firepower here, Xion. What are you thinking? What should they pick up here, you think?
I actually like the 2 tanks pick since both of them still flexible, not like the My team. They got the idea and the Yuhan, so they kind of removed the flex there. But from the Maya team, they didn't pick any tank support, so they have to actually go for assassin and they go for the channel. So probably they're going to play for the late game since the early game is very weak.
Yeah, Channel is a pretty solid play too, especially when you get so many melees, right? Being able to summon all those wolves, give someone like the Lapu Lapu and the Ada a really hard time dealing with those wolves in the middle of the team fight. And we see the Charlotte actually get rounded out, and Charlotte is actually going to be the Clash laner from side VGD. So it is going to be out of jungle.
Yes, exactly, but it's gonna take them long time to scale actually. And Fatih pick probably they picked because they realized they play against two heroes that you can't stun them, so let's just pick damage.
Absolutely. DRenji coming out too. I really like, you know what? I actually really would have liked Maya to pick the DRenji, right? Because they see that they're against the Lapu Lapu, the Ada, even the Charlotte, right? If you get the DRenji and being able to drop that ultimate to shred their defenses, and you know they're going to have a lot of defenses, right? That would have been a great pickup as well too. And he has that legal immunity to kind of dance around Lapu Lapu's crowd control. So I think that was a little bit of a miss there on side of Maya, but maybe they prefer playing something like the channel because they're going for something like the Agudo. Look at this, they're playing a sieging composition actually here with the minions and the summons from both Agudo and the channel here. Maybe they're looking at it a different way. They're saying like, hey, you guys have all these slow, bulky tanks that, you know, we're just gonna outmaneuver you and push down your towers instead of trying to just take you guys head on and fight you guys.
Exactly, I think the DRenji pick was actually amazing if they played it, but probably they were a little bit scared of the Ata since you can't actually stun them with the DRenji, so they want someone that can run away from the tanks, and they just picked the Yuhuan and the Diadia, so a lot of feeling actually from their side, and the Agud will help them with the movement speed and the camps in the front.
Yeah, I think they had a game plan in mind there when they picked the channel. We didn't really know it yet, but they had the Agudo in the back pocket. Agudo kind of fell off as a jungle, right? He was really popular back then, but after some of the changes and reworks, he still get picks sometimes, but not too often now. It's only really picked in compositions that really favor it for that push, because Agudo is great at pushing down those towers. Here's a look at the cash prizes. I've been made aware that there's been a little bit of an update in the cash prizes there, but they're still going to be roughly around that 4,000 range total.
Yes, and we go with the game start here. Look, everyone is going to his lane, so we didn't see any changes except the Diadia has gone Clash lane to start with the Fatih to get some early games advantage here.
For sure here, as we're getting into the game, Charlotte here is not going to know it, but there's going to be someone in that bush. Look at that Diadia trying to cheese the Charlotte here, giving Fatih a lot of breathing room. Charlotte definitely having the advantage in the 1v1 early game in that lane. So Diadia kind of evening the odds, trying to push it back into Fatih's favor.
Yeah, it was actually a smart move from the Charlotte that they didn't go just for the wave and wait a little bit to see. And that's what exactly happened. The Diadia was camping for her.
Absolutely. We see the She in the mid lane as well too, providing some pressure, and that is going to be a very high utility mid laner, right? Similar to the Lady Jen from the first game, even more utility. So being able to move around the enemies there, kind of feeding them into the bulky, immobile kind of tanks on the side of VGD. Really like that pickup.
Yes, exactly, but the only problem for Team Maya, actually their early game is very weak, so if they just don't make it to the late game, it's gonna be really hard for them to defend their camps or defend the objectives.
Yeah, I think they had that going into draft as well. They knew they were going to pick something that's not quite as strong, so they ban out the pay because they don't want to be abused in the early game there. They also played it once already, and look at this. Once again, a lot of pressure being applied to the Charlotte here, not allowing her to have that great matchup against the Fatih early game, giving them a lot of free time to go ahead and scale up, because once Fatih gets his levels, he could hold his own against the Charlotte. It's just not in the ultra early game.
Yeah, exactly. Charlotte is a little bit weak early game, but after level 4 she started doing some damage actually. And they want to make her weak for the late game, you know. It's really hard to play against Charlotte if you're a Shano and you can just stun her with your first kill.
Yeah, I think when push comes to shove, if Charlotte and Fatih are kind of on even footing, Charlotte has a bit of an edge in the split push, I would say, but it's really close. It is going to come down to skill. This is one of those matchups where it is very outplay heavy. They can definitely outplay each other, and I'm excited for that. Here's look at Lapu Lapu here. Look at this. He's farming up some of the jungle here, getting it ready for his teammates here, and just by being near the Lapu Lapu, you're getting increased resistances, which is why it's one of the best supporters, I think, too. One of the simplest to play, right? You have kind of simple crowd control, and just by being near him, you are tankier, and I love that.
Yeah, except he's amazing in zoning. It's like doing the job of the Zhangfei, Liampo. It's always staying on the front. You can damage him, giving some stats to your team. It's just insanely good support.
Yeah, and then that passive kind of auto applies to whoever has the lowest health. So it can auto adjust for whoever's in danger here. As you see, it goes right onto the Renji there instead of the Sha, because he dropped a little bit of health. And that is able to keep his allies alive for as long as possible. Look at that. Beautiful skill 1 onto 3 from Lapu Lapu here. Pushes them back here in what looks to be initially a 3v4. But Charlotte comes down with a teleport, trying to even the odds here, as we see Yuan forced to use the Unending Sorrow defensively to get away.
Yeah, the team Maya realized that the support actually wasted the ult, so they know they could win the team fight since the support ult is really important.
Absolutely. I'm just thinking about this game so far. We have the Lapu Lapu and the Ada. If Ada is like the lowest health on the team and he gets the Lapu Lapu passive, he's going to be so tanky. Like, he's going to have close to like 1,000 armor and magic resistance there and be like nigh indestructible. So that's going to be a crazy combo into the mid game. Maya's really going to need to focus on getting those anti-heal items in to try and, you know, burn through the front line of the side of VGD.
Exactly, if you put the Ata next to the Lapu Lapu, insane stats, and already the Maya team does have enough damage on the early game, so it's going to be almost impossible to kill the Ata.
Yeah, and it's going to be tough now that VGD opts to go ahead and get that Tyrant as well, too. They really could use that extra juice to go ahead and cut down inside VGD. And while VGD is not, their composition doesn't have that much damage there, when they get that Tyrant, it's going to turn these tanks into kind of some pretty sizable threats. The Lapu Lapu is able to do sizable damage once he has that Tyrant buff on. He throws that skill 1 down, sets it right in front of the tower from side Maya, zoning the enemies away there. And look at this, a lot of vision being provided from the side of Lapu Lapu, putting down that sword, ensuring that they cannot walk up. And look at that, Channel walks up and gets hit by the ultimate there. And that's why, as Zenon said, the zoning from Lapu Lapu is so strong. The second he walked up, if you don't respect it, look what happens, you go down.
Yeah, exactly, you don't know when he's gonna engage, so you're gonna keep some pressure on him, and it's gonna really hard actually to play against the Lapu Lapu, even though the Channel wasted some flash, but he still got caught by the Chi first.
Ooh, look at this. A bit of a 1v1 here in the Clash lane. Fati getting dropped really low. Charlotte going for the Tokyo. Wow, beautiful flash. Skill 1, third proc onto Charlotte there. Almost knocking her up under tower. That's what I mean by this matchup. There's a lot of outplay potential on both sides. That could have honestly went either way if they played it a little bit differently.
Yeah, exactly. You're seeing some outplays in the Clash lane, but none of them died. But in the blue side teams, looks like they got the first mid tower, and it's gonna be hard for the red side team since they're gonna invade.
Here we go. VGD showing that why their composition is so strong here. They're not able to go down yet. They're 3-0. Maya not able to really find anything. 4-0 now. VGD with a sizable lead. They're up 2,000 gold on Maya now, and they lost match 1. They're kind of, you know, flipping the script right now on Maya here.
Yeah, and we saw a 77% damage taken from the Ata, so and they still have half of HP, so it's almost impossible to kill the Ata for now. Just take your time. Wait for the farm laner to get your Daybreaker and just win some time for late game.
Yeah, they need to wait until they have the itemization available. How Honor Kings and a lot of MOBAs work is tanks with their base stats and base damage are usually going to be more durable in the early game and have more impact in the early game. But once you get to the very late game, items or an equipment are, you know, balanced in a way where, as Zenon said, you get something like that Daybreaker and you can punch through anything clean, right? So they're going to need to wait until that comes up, but that's not going to be for a while though, as there's only 6 minutes in the game.
Yeah, you still need a lot of damage since you have Yuan. You have sustained team, but you're just missing some damage. You have the Agudo pick, but even though you still have 2 items, but it's not enough, just not enough.
Here we go, Ada coming in with Engage. Ghost Ship onto Yuan. It looks like it just swallowed her whole there, as she did not have the Unending Sorrow to defend herself there, as VGD is all over Maya's jungle now, contesting all of these camps.
Yeah, so insane engage from the Ata there, that's the problem. He can't stun the hero and he's really tanky, so for him to close the cap, just easy.
But when you play pure tank heroes like the Ada and you get ahead, you have just enough damage, you know, to take out your enemies there. Especially if you're getting these times. Look at that, another kill for the Ada here. They're able to leverage their level advantage to do more base damage to take out the squishier opponents. Ada only really doesn't do much damage if you're even or behind. When you're ahead, it does just enough damage to take out his targets.
Yeah, only with the items, you're just already 2 levels ahead from the other team and just gonna do insane damage.
Absolutely, it's that base damage, right? Tanks rely on that base damage, which
Yeah.
is so important that they go ahead and get ahead. Maya just need to go ahead and hold on, wait until they get some of their itemization going here. We see the Shadow Ripper coming out from channel, so that's going to be a little bit of a bump in DPS for Maya, but we're really looking for that 3-item Eternity Blade, Shadow Ripper, Daybreaker combo before channel starts becoming the marksman we know and love, shredding through the enemies.
Yeah, exactly. You usually know the junglers take most of the farm. In this game, since you have she already in mid lane, she can just give you all your waves, and you're gonna be ahead in XP and gold. If you have a tank like Ata, you just have a lot of damage and a lot of tank.
In these bruiser-heavy games, which this game has like 4 bruisers in it, these mid laners are super important, right? Because they're the ones that are going to be itemizing with the anti-heal and the slows to, you know, disrupt and grievous all these bruisers here. So they're going to be really important to these fights here, because if they can stay alive, they can kind of, you know, dictate and control the enemies there.
Yeah, but actually we're seeing a good move from Naya since they can actually defend. They just send the Fatih to push a little bit.
Look at that, Fatih turning on that ultimate and just laying into that tower. I love doing that when I play Fatih. No one's there, I'm gonna just turn on that ultimate and just full auto that tower. Speaking of towers, mid lane tier 2 goes down from Maya. So VGD do make a nice trade. They trade their tier 1 bottom for the tier 2 of Maya here, and they have firm control of this game. And unlike game 1, it looks like they're not giving it away. Wait a second, who is in the bush there? They have a flank here, potentially. The Fatih's looking for a flank onto the back line. This could be what Maya needs to get back into the game.
Yeah, it looks like they forgot about the Fatih, and Fatih waiting for the perfect moment to get in.
Here we go. This could be a game-changing play here coming up. The Fatih is so patient there, waiting for the perfect opportunity. It looks like it is not coming up, actually, and he opts to go ahead and recall. No, he actually comes in. He finds his target here. The DRNG drops a lot of damage, but it's not enough. VGD was all there and ready for it. But I like the patience, and as we said earlier in match 1, you know, when you're behind, you gotta go for these unpredictable, these wild plays to come back.
Yeah, exactly. They don't actually go. The trade there in the bot lane was insanely good. At least take some gold. It was the first tower they got, so it will give them some gold, but the gold gap was so big that they couldn't just win the fight with that flank.
This is a complete gear shift from side VGD here in game 2. They went from losing game 1 to so far 10 minutes in, no casualties on their side at all, right? Great objective control too, as they get the first enhanced tyrant, and they don't have a single death. Oh my god, look at this combination on the side of Maya. They're all low. 2 goes down, and it seems like they cannot lose a fight.
Yeah, that's the Lapu Lapu wanted to see the down lane knockout from Lapu Lapu, and she actually did a really good job controlling them to the ult.
Yeah, Maya just struggling and falling farther and farther behind, and VGD is just getting tankier and tankier and kind of closing out their windows to get kills. How is Maya, with a composition like this, you know, going to get kills on a really fed Ada? With the Lapu Lapu buffing them up too, it's going to be almost impossible.
Yeah, and they got to see a lot of damage from the DRNG, so it's really, really hard to go back from this game. If you just make some time, but looks like very good team, know what they're going for, so they just want to return the game as fast as possible. So
here we go, VGD opting to pressure the Clash lane high ground here. They already got the mid lane, and once these high, ooh, beautiful ultimate coming out. I thought it was gonna connect on more people. They barely got away. Connects on 1 and gets 1 kill there. Not bad at all. Lapu Lapu also could have, you know, flashed forward there if you want to hit a little bit more. But he's opting to save his skills there and waiting for a more opportune time. A lot of plays you can make on that hero there.
yeah, exactly. They know they're already winning. They just want to play it slow, take some objective, take the enemy camps, and you can just finish the game. You have the DRNG already, you have 2 tankies that can go deep, and the enemy can just defend.
Absolutely. Lapu Lapu opting to go with the Radiance there on the support item. I personally, I like the shield item because he's able to give you those resistances, and then giving you a shield on top gives you a lot of effective HP. But VGD just recognized right now they're in the lead. You know, they don't need to be more tanky. They need to take the initiative. They're tanky enough. They haven't even died yet, right? We need to try and catch out the enemies with something like that Radiance there. Slow them down to keep them in range of our bulky tanks here.
Exactly.
Oh, here we go. Another catch. Another catch coming out from Ada there. Ghost Ship goes a little bit wide, but forcing the Yuan to burn. Oh my god, Ada does go down. He's getting a little bit overzealous as he jumps into 4 there. That's going to be the first 2 casualties on the side of VGD. Maybe we spoke too soon there, as Maya are showing some signs of life now, finding an opportunity to take out some members of VGD.
Yeah, it looks like Team Very Good got so comfortable with that gold lead, and they thought they could just win any fight.
Ooh! Look at that here. 3 for 0 from Maya while they're down 8,000 gold. That is extremely impressive there. Big slip up on VGD for sure. But Maya's going to need to do that a couple more times if they want to come back into this game here. All the high grounds on the side of Maya are pretty injured here and wounded. We see the Clash Lane high ground almost going down, living on a hair there. Anyone can just walk up and breathe on that and take that out. As well as the bottom tier high ground for Maya is extremely low as well too. So while VGD fumbled that fight a little bit there, positionally and map-wise, they are still heavily in the lead. Maya needs to pull that bunny out of the hat 2 more times, 3 more times maybe even, to get back into the game.
Yeah, that's exactly what we're talking about. We see the Chano actually finished the Daybreaker item, so now we can burst into the tanks, and we got 3 shutdowns also, so it's really hard actually to... Maybe they still have 5k gold lead, but just wait another 5 minutes, 6 minutes, and just wait for the Tempest, and we can just fight as the same.
Yeah, Chano is super itemed up, even with that Blood Weeper there too, which could give him a really good potential to 1v1 some of these tanks here, that if they're not able to go ahead and kill him, he's able to kite around and sustain off them. Gives him a little bit of side laning potential too. Probably not against Charlotte here. Here we go. Big fight comes out. Lava Lava ult connects onto 2. Great counter initiate coming out from the shot here as VGD opt to do a little bit of more of what they have been doing, which is running down the side of Maya. They did lose last fight, but they are still up 8,000 gold, so they are able to just brute force it down as we see a 3 for 0. This could be it for the side of Maya, and we could be going to our first game 3 of the day.
Yeah, this could be it. Actually, the Charlotte pushed the top wave. They know maybe 1 wave is not enough.
That's gonna be all she wrote here. It looks like there's only 1 minion left, but that is enough as it's able to make the crystal vulnerable. And VGD with an extremely dominant game too. That's what I'm saying. Anything can happen here in this series. That game too was a completely different game. VGD was in the driver's seat almost the whole time. They had 1 tiny little slip up, but even after that, they were sizably in the lead. And I dare say they won that game more confidently than Maya won game 1. So up until game 3 here, I'd say Very Good has very good momentum.
Yeah, exactly. They did so much better than the first game, and the moment actually we thought the Maya team could pull a comeback, they just one-shotted the Chano guy, and he's the only carry, so you can't do anything after that.
Yeah, absolutely. Chano is the only really high form of sustained damage. Agudo is building a good amount of damage this game as well too, but he's a little bit half damage there. You're really going to need Chano to stay alive to cut through all these tanks on the side of VGD, and he was focused a good amount, and they have good heroes to go ahead and do it, right? Ada's able to kind of jump on anyone with immunity, really. You can't really stop him from jumping on you. The Charlotte is able to find some angles to flank as well too, all being supported by the MVP there, Shaw. We didn't talk about her too much, but the entire game, she was the one going ahead and pulling these enemies, applying anti-heal, and just being annoying to all the enemies on the side of Maya here as we go over to game 3.
Yeah, though she actually played very good. She killed the Chano 2 times, which is the carry of the enemy team. So she did more than enough, and she has already the anti-heal, she has some life steal to sustain, and she really did a lot with the slow.
Absolutely, and since we're playing on the global pick ban format here, all of these heroes cannot be used again by their respective teams here. So you're gonna have to kind of dig a little bit deep into your champion pool, your hero pool now, right? Because you're gonna have to play stuff that you have not played yet. You know, both teams seem to have a formula that works, but they're going to need to find another one here as Pei is removed from the side of Maya, and the Ada and the Lapu Lapu is not going to be able to be played from Very Good here. So game 3, it could kind of switch it up again here.
Yeah, exactly. The first game we was talking about, we're going to see some surprise picks from both teams, but now we're going to talk about you have to play another heroes. No more mains anymore. You have to show how you play a lot of heroes.
Yeah, we've seen the Lapu Lapu. Maybe can we see the Gardua? You know, they were kind of hinting at us there, that game with it. They hovered it, you know. It actually would have been a great pick, I think, right? Instead of Yuhan, because it playing against these tanks is able to shred them with that ultimate there, and it is a mid laner that provides a good amount of sustained damage. So that could maybe get picked up if we do see, you know, a team opt to go for the very tanky route as we've seen here from VGD. But here is a look at the brackets here. War is going to be going into day 2 on the winner's bracket here, facing the winner of this next game here between Very Good good in Maya Street, and then the loser will go ahead and play SFT for 3rd place tomorrow.
Exactly. I would love to see actually the Garuda pick. Could be actually so much better the last game since they were lacking the wave clearer hero. You know, Yuan is very slow at clearing wave. You need some help. Garuda could easily any wave. You know, just you're gonna want to lose mid tower. Just ult and you'll be fine. And as you said, they need a little bit of like the slow, some damage shredding like the Garuda. It could be a little bit better pick, I would say.
Yeah, I like to call it in MOBA's firepower, right? Some picks, they just got the firepower. Meaning, like, if you keep them alive, they're going to be able to dispatch all of the enemies there, right? Yuan is a great pick, but it's not that firepower. It's mainly picked for taking out these squishy targets like the Mai, right? Maybe like a Fade, which they don't have the durability, so the base damage from Yuan can really come in through with the Frost Scar and such to take him out. But when you get something like Ada, you're gonna need to hit like 4, 5, 6, 7 Yuan combinations on him to even think about taking him out there. So that's why it was a great draft inside VGD, identifying that they don't really have the juice there on Maya to take out our tanks. So let's go ahead and beef up and run them down, which is exactly what they did.
Yeah, it looks like this game, most of the time we see the counter pick is the red side, but this time we feel like we got the very good team countering the enemy team. After they got the Lapu Lapu, they got like 2 squishy heroes with no damage. So let's just go for more tanky heroes and some little bit of CC.
Absolutely, yeah, that's great insight. Yeah, usually red side being able to take the 2 are great counters, but it seems like that game Maya didn't really try to counter out the Lapu Lapu. They just, kind of tried to play their bread and butter there, which is not an incorrect strategy, but it's just that very good, had a great counter to their lineup there, and they played it extremely well as well too. But once again, here's a look at the cash prize. The numbers are a little bit different than the 4,400 we see on screen here. It is a bit updated. I was told that it is going to go ahead and be the breakdown is a little bit different. Okay, so it is still 4,400, but I had the breakdowns a little bit incorrect here. First place is going to be taking home 1,885, which is still a very sizable amount. And then 4th place is taking home 630.
That's really good money for just playing tournament for fun. Could be just want to show your talent. Could be anything.
Yeah, I know Zenon seeing that prize was like, yo, I want to play in these games too, right? Like, I'm trying to get in here and get a piece of that action here.
Yeah, that's how it all started.
As we get into match 3 here, 1-1 on both sides. Mai and Zhangfei being banned out from the side of VGD, so they cannot play those. And then VGD, they know what they could do on the Lapu Lapu, so they remove it now as well as the Dolia. And then the Arlie gets first pick. But look at that immediate response from the side of Maya. Picks up the Liang. He's like, sure, you can have the Arlie. We'll just go ahead and lock it down.
Yeah, it's especially the Guan Yu, one of the best 6 I want to see today, since it's really counter most of the heroes and it's really underrated hero. We don't see a lot because it's really hard hero to play, but I would love to see how the Guan Yu do this game.
Yeah, for these more introductory circuits here, like the KCS, something like the Guan Yu is an intimidating pick. This is a hero that is very hard to go ahead and pilot. We do see it a lot in the higher levels of play, but you need hundreds of hours and matches to play this hero perfectly there. To be able to maneuver around these fights, look for his flanks here, and not only is it mechanically tough, Guan Yu is one of those heroes that needs to know how to play the map. Your macro needs to be really good as well.
Yeah, as you said, Guan Yu is all about the macro. You need some really good flank. You can just run to the fight and you can just do anything like that. You need a really good flank to play some Guan Yu, and we see some Noah Peak and Byron. It's kind of a counter for Guan Yu, but I still feel he's still playing comfortably against the early.
Yeah, Byron's just always a solid pick. You can't go wrong with having a Byron on your team. You're never going to be upset at having a Byron on your team, right? And then he's going to be doing a good job of, if he's left alone versus that Guan Yu, able to control that early game and dictate that lane. We have seen that when teams pick a weaker Clash laner, they will get support from their roamer to go ahead and kind of ease their way through that early game though. So let's see if that goes ahead and happens here. Unbrosa getting banned. Dude, these new heroes, I love the new heroes. They're all so fun. They're so unique, right? Unbrosa getting the 2 lives there. If you get Sage's Sanctuary, you get 3 lives here. Such a frustrating hero to play against. And it looks like Maya does not want to play against them as they go ahead and remove it. Ogren here, you know what? Ogren's kind of taking a bit of a backseat, right? It gets some banned out every other game, it feels like. But this used to be a hero that gets pick banned every single game, right? So a bit more variety in the pro circuit here, which I love to see.
Yeah, it looks like the teams today are contesting more the Paid more than the Ogan for some reason, but they actually want to go for the Frost, but they were thinking maybe we're lacking some damage or mobility, maybe the Chow Chow could be a better pick so he can run away.
Yeah, the Liang Xiao Xiao could be a solid pick as well too. Frost, we know, is the tried and true bread and butter combo, but it lacks that firepower that we are looking for, right? And the Xiao Xiao definitely does not, with the Meteor Shower, able to provide such consistent damage, especially if the target is standing still from getting grabbed by the Liang. And look at this. This is oh, okay. I thought they were playing with us there, Zenon. That was a solo queue special right there. The Dan Wei hover there, you know, we see so many Dan Weis in the ladder there. We thought it was gonna come out. Dan Wei does come out sometimes, but mainly as like a counter pick to heavy CC compositions, like something like the Princess Frost.
Yeah, I actually do like a lot of the Dan Wei pick because it's usually as a price pick, and since they are already in the second phase, you can just pick a hero like that just to counter the CC they have.
Yeah, Dan Wei does not get picked too often, and I wouldn't necessarily deem it like a very, very strong pick, but when it does get picked, it actually wins a lot. It's one of the higher win rates when it gets picked up, because it's picked in these picture-perfect scenarios, like, all right, the enemy needs to land these crowd controls to go ahead and win. Beautiful. I'm Dan Wei. I'm going to just cleanse out of it and run you down.
Exactly. The hero pick rate is really low, but the win rate is very high, which is just a very situational hero. But we see the Diadia pick from the very good team, and the Nisa, second game we see the Nisa pick today.
Yeah, very unique picks coming out from both sides here. The Neza usually is picked against the Arlie to try and, you know, snipe her down, but this time he's partnered up with the Arlie, which is going to be very interesting. Maya opts to pick up the Ada. They saw how powerful it was last game, and they want to try it out for themselves now too. And then they're going to round out their composition with that Flowborn Marksman. I actually really like the Flowborn Marksman pick. That's a pick that can easily follow up on the Liang ultimate there with their ultimate Arrow Storm, I think it's called, where they can just go and chip down whoever is suppressed by the Liang, which is going to be an amazing lineup. Once again, these are the 4 teams that are in the grand finals today. They're not the only 4 teams playing. They're the 4 teams that made it this far, right? A lot of universities have been playing, and these are the 4 best ones here in the grand finals here today. And we're about to see the final match between Maya Street and Very Good.
Yeah, both teams are 1-1 and trying to secure a place in the grand final. But after we see the Liang pick, actually I thought maybe they didn't want to give them the Diadia, that's why they would be scared of the Liang pick, since Liang is very known for countering the Diadia. But looks like Team Maya doesn't care, and Team Very Good just want the Diadia early combo.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of the Liang pick because I'm a believer in keeping it simple, right? If your lineup is simple to execute, it makes it easier to execute it perfectly. Liang, I love playing with Liang. It's like he grabs someone, you just hit the guy he grabs, you know? It's a very streamlined game plan there, which is going to make it so much easier to go ahead and execute on. So let's see if they can go ahead and execute on it in this match here. We see the Guan Yu and the Byron. It looks like Guan Yu is not getting much help in the early game, so it is going to be a 1v1 there. Everyone is actually in the mid lane trying to get this pushed up in. Arlie usually does start mid because they want to funnel as many resources into that hero as possible.
Yeah, we thought actually the Liang going to help the Guan Yu, but he's just going there to just steal some camps. And you see the Arlie starting mid, which is a very good early game for her against the Xiao Xiao, since she can cancel her first skill and she can get the third wave from the mid lane and go bot, take another wave, then try to get all the camps on the bot side.
Yeah, whenever Arlie's in the game, it becomes Arlie's game, right? Teams, how they play around Arlie is they funnel and give her literally every piece of farm possible, and that begins with starting her off in the mid lane. Then they're going to usually roam with her and do jungle with her as well, and just try to give her as much resources as possible, because they know once Arlie gets online and has all those resources, she can carry the game super, super easily.
Yeah, especially and she have the Diadia pick was give her some movement speed and really hard a lot of damage actually when you're fighting a solo kill. And since you have this game, no, actually it's kind of hard to play against one, so the best option for you to give the early the carry.
Absolutely. It's going to be a lot of responsibility as well, because Maya is definitely be looking for some of those ultimates onto that Arlie, because no matter how much gold Arlie has, if she gets locked down by the Liang, she is a goner. So positioning is going to be very, very important. A bit of a freeze coming out from the Flowborn Marksman there. That's a very good strategy to ensure that you can safely farm. For those viewers at home that are not too attuned, he's intentionally not taking out that minion so that the wave can go ahead and kind of freeze right under his tower where it's safe for him to farm.
Yeah, exactly. And Probably that's why they picked the Nisa pick, but it looks like the Nisa got caught here and they give them the first blood. And could be an invade from the Maya team actually.
Yeah, look at this 3-man group invade into VGD's jungle there because they know the jungler is not able to go ahead and respond to there. That ghost ship was actually perfect in cutting off the Neza here. And Ada, we said some junglers fell off like the Gudo. Ada is the complete opposite, all right? He came up. We've been seeing a lot more Ada jungles in plays. He had some tiny buffs here and there, but teams are kind of understanding how much value he can bring as a tank jungler now to kind of fill that role that Dune kind of played in the past after he got nerfed.
Yeah, and Ata is one of the strongest hero, but he's not really picked a lot, but I feel it's always hard to play against Ata, and since he was almost forgettable in the meta for a long time, it's kinda...
Yeah, Ada's a consistent pick here. As we see a bit of a pause here coming out. As we see everyone is frozen here, doing the Harlem Shake, right? Everyone's frozen in time, waiting. So gonna have a technical pause here. It's all right. Sometimes this stuff happens. Maybe a disconnection happens, but let's go ahead and look at the itemization on both sides here. Guan Yu opting to go the tank route. More Guan Yus you're gonna see in pro play are gonna be going that tank build. Whereas in ladder play, you see these Axe of Torments, flashy, full damage Guan Yus come out. And what do you think about the itemization here coming out from these teams?
It's always better for the go for tank actually, since the damage build's not gonna help you a lot. You don't actually. It's kind of hard to kill the early, but even with a tank build, you can actually kill her easily.
Zena, you know what I see a lot of people do, and sometimes it's really good. Whenever I see a Guan Yu in roam, they are actually like really, really good, I feel like. And they do so much damage and they always kill my carries. But that's something you don't see in competitive play too much. What do you think about that?
Yeah, usually in competitive you need to get, if you get an enchant you need a tank jungle. If you get tank support you can get some assassin, but Guan Yu is usually hard to face check, so it's kind of a troll pick if you pick Guan Yu and you stay up without a face checker in your team.
But you know what I'm talking about though, right? Like, so, I don't know why every time I play against it, like maybe it's because my marksmen are not used to playing against the Guan Yu. They always go down and the enemy Guan Yu is like 3-0-12. And I'm like, what's going on? Why is that guy stronger than my Clash laner right now on support? Maybe it's just my luck here. Because when there's a Guan Yu on my team, that guy is like 0-10. Guan Yu on the enemy team, he's stronger than my Clash laner on Roam for some reason.
It's always the enemy team is stronger for some reason, but I feel also if you play him support, you kind of don't have a lot of gold. Even if you play tank, you won't buy. It won't be faster for you to buy some items, you know. If you play Clash, you can get all the waves. You can. If you buy tank item, you will be unkillable. If you buy damage, you're gonna be one-shotting anyone.
Absolutely. And Xenon, your name is Xenon Mid. Obviously, you're a mid player, right? What advice do you guys have for some of the up-and-coming mid players? Any picks that you're enjoying right now that you think are slept on?
Yeah, usually I actually every meta I just play the meta heroes. I don't play a lot of heroes. For now, I just play the Nua, the Yishing, the Mai, Garanmo. I would say this is the top 4 heroes for the mid lane. If we're gonna talk about how to roam for mid lane, usually go the opposite side of your jungler to check if the enemy is invading or no. That's the first step. Then just go help the sides. Just have a look at the camps on the side and just go help them. And look, one of the advice I would give for mid lane is just keep the time on the timer. You just check the timer for the camps. I know sometimes it's a job of the jungle, but you're not gonna be roaming for a lane that doesn't have any camp, you know? Like, what's the point there? If you go there, the wave will be taken and you're just gonna be watching the tower. You know, it's very hard to push the tower now after the latest update. The tower get the shield, so you really have to wait for the minute 4 mark.
Yeah, a lot of great insight here from Xenon here, and that is what separates a good mid laner from a bad mid laner, right? You see all the points that Xenon gone ahead and mentioned are about impacting the map. A great mid laner is like everywhere. They're helping you do jungle, they're helping you gank, right? Whereas, you know, the newer mid laners kind of just stay in their lane here. Speaking of staying in lane, we're gonna be back into these lanes now as our technical pause is up. It is 4 minutes in the game. Tyrant is up now here, and it looks like Team Maya actually ends up getting control of that there.
Yeah, it looks like Team very good, wasn't contesting the dragon, just keep the Baron top, just go take the tower, and we're gonna just give this dragon for now since our early game is a little bit weaker from the Team Maya.
Absolutely. We see the Ada using the ultimate to help clear the Azure Golem a little bit quicker there, the Ghost Ship. Pretty nice coming out there. The Xiao Xiao is walking with him as well, too, to try and help him clear out jungle. That's the one thing about Ada jungle, though. His clear is not the fastest, though. Kind of similar to Yang Juan as well, too. This new breed of, like, bruisery, tanky junglers do not clear that quickly there, so they could use some help and coordination.
Yeah, exactly. Team Maya know what they're doing. They don't have tank support or just pick tank jungler. They have tank jungler, just help them clear. That's the way of the game now.
Absolutely. This Liang, no real grabs coming out yet from the Liang. Usually, how I like to see the Liang is every time that ultimate is off cooldown, look for a play to see if you can, grab someone off cooldown and apply that pressure and get your team kind of that free kill. But he's kind of playing it safe, not really finding too many opportunities. VGD also know that Maya has that pick potential, so they're playing relatively conservatively there too, as Byron goes in and clears the wave in Clash and teleports down bottom. Oh, Nua actually completes the emergence there, which I'm surprised about, as they get immediately pushed into the wall by Ada and almost get taken out. That was almost a big mistake, actually completing that emergence.
Yeah, exactly. Maybe she saw the team gonna follow her, but it looks like they didn't want to catch the Ata anyone. No one want to kill the tank.
Yeah, that was really close to being one shot there. As we see both teams kind of dancing around mid lane. Very, very close game. Maya has that Tyrant buff for a little bit longer, I think. Maybe it's, no, I think it just about ran out. It's a minute and 30 seconds, right? And they got it right on spawn. So right now, it's a good time for VGD to fight if they do want to fight now. Getting some vision here from the Diadea with that Radiance, making sure that they do not face check something they don't want to there.
Yeah, there is no big objectives now. No one wants to take the Slayer, only if there is nothing left on the map. Usually they just want to play for tower now, and if there is no tower, just play for some enemy invades.
Here we go, Flowborn. Once Flowborn gets on that tower, he just does so much damage with those enhanced auto attacks there, as you see him nail it down. What the Arlie walking up into 3 people on the bottom side there. It looks like she was just as surprised as me there, as she gets immediately dispatched. A bit of a slip up on the positioning here from the side of VGD on the Arlie, and that's going to be painful because they invested so much in the Arlie. They do not want to see it go down. Byron forced to flash away here, does not want to get pushed into the side of Maya from the Guan Yu.
Yeah, and we see actually the Liang did use his ult, but he still didn't use his flash, so she could be out of position, or maybe she thought the enemy went back. Anything could happen.
The catch potential from the Liang with that howl and the flash is so high, right? And it seems like all he needed to do was go ahead and pop that howl and just run up to the Arlie and lock her down. So I think it's a great counter to the Arlie having that Liang. And as Arlie, you cannot play how you usually do this game. You have to play extra safe, knowing you can always get caught up.
Yeah, and I feel actually they picked the Xiao Xiao instead of the Frost pick because of the Ali. I just realized actually play against Ali. If the Liang was the ult, and anyone could be Nizat, could be anyone. No one can kill the Ali. You can kill the Ali with the Frost. So you need someone to have the instant CC to some damage to kill the Ali. And it was actually really helpful for them.
Absolutely, yeah. Xiao Xiao being able to apply that damage and, kind of chain their crowd control, right? With Liang grabbing a prior target, Xiao Xiao is able to, kind of line up, set up that skill 2 to knock him up and do the damage right as they get off of that ultimate there to kind of extend their crowd control and ensure that they go down. We haven't seen that combo come out really yet. Well, I think it did come out, it just wasn't on camera there, right, on the Arlie. But let's hopefully see it on camera now here, too. Look at the Ada here. Oh, Ada gets a little bit caught out in a 1v3, but he stays alive. He's so tanky there. Byron trying to push him off. Ada just engaged a 1v3 and got out. No worse for the wear here. Very, very impressive. And that's going to give Maya enough pressure and positioning to go ahead and secure the second Tyrant here. Wow, beautiful flash coming in from the Nua. It was not enough, though, as Xiao Xiao takes him out. Big fight comes out, and Ghost Ship catches the Byron.
And yeah, we saw a double kill from the Xiao Xiao, but Veniza actually still going.
Yeah, this is a super drawn out fight for both sides here. 3 down for side VGD, and it looks like, wow, full on team wipe for the side of Maya here. Aced. I thought they were both gonna back away, but VGD kept trying to chase afterwards, and that did not work out in their favor as Maya ended up acing them. Annihilation comes out, it finds its mark, but not quite enough damage to take out the Flowborn marksman here.
Yeah, it looks like Ninja overextended there. They forgot about the Xiao Xiao just went back, and they just didn't expect that enough damage from the Flowborn. And actually, we see actually a lot of gold gap here, 6k. Probably I would assume because if you play against hero like Liang and he's always missing, you can just go for the waves, you can just go for your camps without knowing where's the Liang. So actually the Liang pick is putting a lot of pressure on the very good team without even doing anything.
Absolutely. You just can't be in certain spots, right? Because if you're in range for a Howl ultimate from Liang, you're kind of in a bad spot. And because of that, their pressure range on the side of Team Maya is so high. Because you can close a lot of distance on the Liang. Look how quick he is. With the Boots of Deafness with the Howl, he's able to just speed right up to you and grab you down. And while you are suppressed by his ultimate there, it gives ample time for Flowborn Marksman to drop that ultimate. Speaking of ultimates here, Neza coming in with a Skyfall onto someone here, looking for an engage. Everyone inside of Maya is getting dropped low here. As you see, Ada with a Ghost Ship trying to get the Neza here. Neza getting dropped really low. They will go down to Flowborn Marksman here as they get the trade on the Guan Yu though. Guan Yu was holding up 4 members. Same with Neza here. 1 for 1 on both sides.
Yeah, actually, we see the planning was good, the execution was good, but the damage wasn't enough for them to kill the Flowborn. We saw the Noah ult and the Ninja ult at the same time, but the enemy team can just protect her. You have the Liang, you have everything. You have the stun from the Xiao Xiao. It's really hard to kill the Flowborn anymore.
Look at the Flowborn. Every time Flowborn is on that tower, he just blasts it down, taking almost a second or 2 to take down that tower here. Flowborn, you know, people don't really think about it as a tower-taking marksman, but he actually has great tower-taking abilities, right? He's able to zone with that ultimate or apply a little bit of, you know, poke damage to pepper down the enemies defending. And whenever he gets on that tower, he pops the skill 1, gets 5 enhanced autos, and just nails it down, killing the wave and the tower at the same time.
Yeah, exactly. Flowborn is one actually of the best picks in the current meta now, and it's really hard to kill since you have the Ata, you have the Guan Yu, you have a protective team against you, and you already finished almost all of your items. And I would say very good, wanted to get a good catch on the Flowborn, but maybe it was a big mistake because they still have the Dragon. Yes, they still have the movement speed, the damage, they still have everything.
Yeah, and another kind of a flip of the script here. Oh my god, Guan Yu ultimate coming out, connects onto the Diadea here. Not quite enough damage, but it zones them away enough that they kind of faked an engage right there, right? They faked an engage, made VGD back off, and immediately rotated and did the Overlord there. I kind of like that play from Maya there. A bit tricky, because from the side of VGD, it looked like a full fight was coming out, and they were not in position for it, so they opt to go ahead and back up, whereas Maya just rotated to secure the objective. But before we knew it, it looks like Maya's up like 7,000 gold now. They have great control of this game, and just like game 2, you know, it's a very dominant game. Both these teams are just, you know, flipping back and forth between who has control.
Yeah, exactly. Team Maya they already know they don't have to fight, they don't need any kills, they just need to push, they just need to take the Slayer. Just give me the gold, give me some of the jumping caps. They just don't want to fight.
Yeah, this Guan Yu is going to be pivotal for these fights here. He has the Frigid Charge and the ultimate available. He can engage some nice fights here. He's pushing away some of the enemies, buying time for his team to go ahead and take down these towers. 2 high ground towers are down already. This could potentially be the final fight. Guan Yu displacing the Neza here once again and pushing him into the side of Maya here. It's a really tough game for the Neza to play because he goes ahead and he skyfalls in, and then Guan Yu pushes him even farther in, away from the protection of his allies.
Yeah, and here we're gonna see they're going for another play since they killed Dunisa, and we see the ult flash from Xiao Xiao and they knock out 2 people. And the
beautiful play from the Xiao Xiao there onto 2. Is that going to be enough? It looks like the crystal is vulnerable. Are they going to rush down the crystal right now? And it looks like they are. Maya 1 attack away from taking out the crystal there. And there we go. They go ahead and steal up their match 3 here, game 3, and they win the match there, Maya. That was a really decisive game. These 2 teams, you know, they're kind of back and forth. It feels like they're both very momentum-driven teams, because once they have the momentum, they go ahead and they run with it and they win. Last game, we saw very good go ahead and completely dominate. There wasn't a shot for Maya to go ahead and come back, but this game, it felt like Maya had control the entire time.
Yeah, we saw actually it was a really good team fight from the Wyatt team. We saw the Guan Yu going deep, and he just was winning time. The Neza ulted the Flowborn, but the Liang was waiting for him to ult him. Then the Ali was trying to kill the Liang, but he already bought Splendor first item, which is weird, but it worked out. It worked out very well for them.
Yeah, the Splendor. If Liang was not annoying enough when he grabs you, now when you catch him out, he can go frozen here and wait for his teammates to come around and protect him here. I think that's a great item. That's kind of like a win more item, but they identified that they were already winning and they don't need more damage, right? They just need to be more annoying there and just ensure that they do not get caught out. And that's kind of like a fail safe against getting caught out there. So great itemization coming out from the side of Maya Street's Liang there. And look at speaking of itemization, look how many items the Xiao Xiao has. Xiao Xiao is basically full build there, SS rating 408, amazing KDA there coming out.
Yeah, she almost got the full build there, and starting with the anti-heal, of course, for the Niza, for the Diadia, for the early, and the Byron pick. And we see also the Ata with a lot of tanky items. He already full items with 11k gold.
Yeah, Overlord's plate mail with the Blood Rage there. That Ada is like impenetrable there, right? Especially when their Arlie is not really allowed to do damage this game. She has to play so safe. She can't really walk up and harass and, weaken down the Ada, because every time she does that, she risks getting howled down by the Liang. And that's why that Liang is such a priority pick, and we saw it banned out earlier. But the second it goes through, we see how much pressure it applies. Even though he didn't get the MVP, he actually got the lowest rating. I would say the Liang applied a lot of global pressure that we don't really see in the stats.
Yeah, he doesn't have to do anything, as we said before. If he just stay out of the vision, he's already doing his job and just putting a lot of pressure on the enemy team, and that's more than enough for the team to farm.
There we go. Giveaways are also, I'm getting word right now, Xenon, that giveaways are going to be drawn right now here. So
yes.
Make sure you guys get your exclamation point giveaways in if you guys have not already, so you can go ahead and get a chance at winning some stuff here. But yeah, that's a look at the brackets for today. We now know that War and Maya are going to be playing for first place tomorrow in the grand finals. And then SFT and Very Good are going to be playing for third place. The prizes are pretty sizable, so you really want to make every game go ahead and count. First place is 1885 USD and second place is 1,000. So the difference between first and second is huge. That's 800 USD for your team, and that is a lot of skins if my math is right. And the difference between fourth and third place is a pretty sizable amount to about 250 USD between 630 and 880. So every team is going to be trying their best to get the bigger pie of that 4,400 cash prize pool. And the viewers at home should try to go ahead and get a piece of the giveaway action with exclamation point giveaway. And if you're watching in person with some of the IRL watch parties we have in these universities, you get a chance to win some peripherals, which is going to be amazing as well too. But that is going to be probably it for today here. We have no more games, and we're going to be getting ready for tomorrow. We're going to have one more look at the bracket here in a bit, and then we got to get ready for the games that are happening tomorrow, which should be another set of best of threes, which is interesting, because usually the finals are best of fives. These being best of three show that every game matters just that much more. You cannot afford to drop a game here. So here's a look at the updated brackets. We have War going through and Maya going through, and then tomorrow we have SFT and Very Good in the lower bracket.
Yeah, the best of three is actually very helpful for them, since all of them still new to esports. They're still putting their hand in the esports scene. So it's really good for them to start with the best of three. If you play a best of seven, it's gonna be hard for you. Minimum you have to play 5 heroes. The enemy can pick the same hero and they can just buy another 2 for you. So minimum you have to play 7 heroes. So best of three is the start for you.
Yeah, it's a great way to start from pro play, as Zenon said, right? As these, university students, get into the game and get into the pro play. You don't want to immediately jump into the best of 7, and have to learn all these heroes. Honor Kings has actually a great ecosystem to slowly move you up the ladder. You get to play in the campus series, maybe potentially the new King series that I casted in the past too, right? And then it starts to go from best of 3s to best of 5s a little bit, right? And then you play your regional qualifiers. And then if you can make it through to your regional games there, you can go ahead and play some maybe best of 7s and then go into the world stage where best of 7s will be coming out for sure.
Yeah, exactly. So this is always the start for you, and you slowly, if you have the patience for it and you're already ambitious enough, you can just go for it.
Absolutely. I think what is the MVP? If we had to crown an MVP hero for today, who would it be? I think it might be someone like the Fatih, right? Like we saw the Fatih in so many games. It was played in both matches, and both teams played Fatih like one time each at least, I think. I don't have the stats right in front of me, but they definitely played a lot. Fatih could be a great MVP. What about you, Zion? What do you think? What do you think is a solid hero that was a dictator for today?
Yeah, we saw a lot of Fatih today, I think 3 or 4 games. But the thing is, they didn't all the teams win with Fatih, but there is the Ata pick actually. It was interesting today. And the two teams won with it.
Yeah, we always kind of forget about the Ata pick. He's such a slept-on pick. I don't think he's that slept on anymore. But for the longest time, Ata was so slept on and no one really played it. And people weren't sure really to play it in the Clash or in the jungle. But now we've kind of developed a jungle Ata build and playstyle, kind of like a replacement to Dune, which is very, very good here. And it looks like we do have a winner that is actually drawn out here. Ryochi HoK, make sure to go ahead and join the Discord and message the admins there to get yourself some gift cards, tokens, and get yourself some skins there. Make sure to join up in the Discord. Even if you guys did not win, guys, join in the Discord to find like-minded people that enjoy HoK right here as well too. They should be in the description as well.
Yeah, congratulations to the winners today, and GG for the 4 teams that played today. All of them did their best. Some of them win, some of them lose, but it's always they will come back stronger.
Yep, the winners just got announced here. Ryochi, make sure to go ahead and join up in the Discord and contact Vixer or Yanessa to get your prize, or just hit up any admin and they can go ahead and hook you up. But that is going to conclude our day 1 here of the grand finals of the KCS. I would like to thank Zenon for joining me and providing his pro perspective, and he will be joining me once again tomorrow as we go into grand finals and crown a victor. Any closing remarks, Zenon?
Yeah, thank you so much, Humus. It's my first time casting, and it's really helpful for you to be with me today.
Oh, you did great. You did great.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. It's my first time, and I'm actually learning a lot from you. Thank you so much.
Guys, show some love to Zenon there. He did a great job for his first time. I couldn't even tell, all right? And he provided some pro-level insights, which is always very needed here, especially in these pro-level games. But it's going to be me here, Phil Yumus here, signing off with Zenon, and we will see you guys same time tomorrow, guys. Thanks for watching. Drop some likes, share. If you guys need, look, I could almost touch Zenon here. Look at this.